So guys, if you're watching this video, chances are you're a business owner that is probably making anywhere from 5K to maybe 50K a month, and you're just curious. You're just seeking information. You're wondering how you can grow your business. You're wondering how you can take advantage of social media, and you're wondering how you can scale. And at this point, you're doing the right thing by even clicking on this video and seeking information, because it's always what I've tried to do. My name is Raphael Tats. I am a tattoo artist who has generated well over 7 figures in income over the past few years in a service-based business doing tattoos, building my business online. I've also made over 7 figures in just online sales, right? Online information, educational sales, also doing physical products. I have a hair product brand that has killed it, that I'm partnered up with one of the biggest barbers in the West Coast on. So I've had multiple businesses that have all gone well over 6 figures in earnings over the past 2 or 3 years, and I've done all of this while building an immense personal brand, well over 1.5 million followers across my TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I have a couple million followers across all platforms. So over the past few months and the past year, I've been working with a lot of other business owners on scaling their business. You've probably seen countless individuals that I've worked with who are extremely successful in and outside of the tattoo industry. And today I just want to give you guys some insight on the different things that we've been working on, me and my one-on-one team, and also it's just some insight on my elite program. I'm going to put in here in this video about an hour's long worth of a call between me and some of my clients in my elite program. And these are just calls that we have weekly or bi-weekly together with a big group of people on Zoom. So we also do one-on-one calls in my program. I offer a true one-on-one. All of my students get one-on-one calls, but at the same time, we also have big group calls that we all hop on, talk about specific topics, help each other out, and a really cool community based around that as well. So let's talk a little bit today about the type of individual that is probably watching this video, and the different types of individuals that we've probably all encountered online and growing our business and seeing other business owners since we've been consuming so much content online. Now, there are a lot of business owners who are making 10 to 15K a month, and I know this because I speak to a lot of you guys. I know where a lot of you guys are stuck at, and I know there's a lot of talented people out there who have potential to grow but are still stuck in a certain situation, right? This is a comfort sweet spot. And don't get me wrong, if you're making 10 to 15K a month in your own business, congratulations. You're making 6 figures a year. People go to college for 5, 6, 7 years and get scammed just to be able to make that much, and you're making that in your own business. Congratulations. I don't mean to say college is always a scam. I take that back. I know people that have succeeded and done great after going to college. But it is a lot of money for not a lot of gain. So 10 to 15K a month business owners, a lot of them are comfortably lost. These are the people who are busy, they're working, and they're making decent money, but they're not actually progressing. They feel like they know what to do, but their actions prove otherwise, right? Number one, they know what to do, but they have no roadmap. A lot of these people are drifting. They understand the concepts, but have zero structure. No system, no plan, no KPIs, no strategy, just pure vibes. And guys, the only reason I'm qualified to speak on something like this is because I was this person. For a long period of time in my career, I had gone through many phases of building and breaking down my business and building a new business, and many different, transformations in the process of building my business, scaling to the level I'm at, right? So I was a 10 to 15K a month business owner for a long time, and a lot of these issues, I dealt with this throughout my career, right? So for a long period of time, I was just drifting. I had no real system for posting. I knew if I posted a lot, it would bring me clients, but I had no real system for posting, right? I had no plans. My camera guy didn't have a standard of operations that he followed strictly. I didn't have a strict plan on how I was going to improve what I did last month. I didn't look at the actual data behind my inquiries. I didn't look at any of the numbers and really break down the data and analyze my data. So I really had a solid structure and plan moving forward. Right? I was drifting for a long period of time. And in this call that you're going to see right here with my one-on-one students, you're going to see that all of my elite clients were in there talking about our plan and our roadmap for moving forward, and then reanalyzing that data so we can make it better as we go. Because of course the algorithm is constantly changing. That's why part of this program is to teach you how to understand that data so you can analyze yourself and continue to make it better as you continue to progress and stay consistent through your content, through building your business, right? So you need to stop drifting. This is going to be the first place a lot of you might feel like you're at. And a lot of people have been stuck in this drifting process for months, even years in their career. Years in their career. I know a lot of people stuck in this spot. I know people that have been stuck in this spot for so many years in the career that it even started to go down even more, and they started making less than 10K a month because they were stuck in this spot for so long, right? So these people think they know everything that everyone else knows, but the numbers don't lie. For example, you can see these guys clear as day on Instagram calling out tattoo marketing courses, and they'll be like, I teach everything they teach, but for cheaper, and I'm not trying to scam you guys for money, and I know everything they know. Guys, take one look at this guy and his results, and his studio, his shop, the people around him, how much work, the quality of work he's putting out. You'll know clear as day that the numbers don't lie. They are not doing anywhere close to what we're doing. And if they had the answers to what we're doing, their Instagram, their social media would reflect that, their business would reflect that, their name would reflect that, the quality of their work would reflect that, their quality of life would reflect that, but none of those things match up, right? So they confuse experience with clarity, and they confuse being busy with scaling, right? Just because you can stay busy and you know basic customer service and you've been in the game for over a decade doesn't mean you're actually scaling your business, and it doesn't mean you actually have any sort of clarity in how to make well over 6 figures in a certain period of time, right? I've done well over 6 figures in a month multiple times, and a lot of people have struggled to even hit a couple 6 figures throughout the year that are trying to say that they know the same thing everyone else knows. But if they knew what everyone else knew, their numbers would reflect that, and everything else they show would reflect that. So pay attention to this stuff and understand that your ego is going to want you to be stuck in that situation. Your ego is going to tell you that it's every other reason but you why your business isn't growing, right? And your ego is also going to tell you that everything else is a scam, and all these people are just faking it, and the cars are rentals, and it's all just a rented lifestyle. But the truth is, there are people making substantial amounts of income out there just from promoting themselves on social media. So we really don't want to close ourselves off to that. We want to keep ourselves open to the fact that there's a lot of room to grow. Number 3 is they treat social media like it's optional. One post here and there, maybe a story for cancellations, and maybe a sale when they're feeling slow. And they just use social media to notify people. They don't use it to nurture, they don't use it to sell, they don't use it to build trust, they don't use it to dominate attention. They just use it to notify the people that they do have. I see guys that literally have commented on my post saying, this stuff's a scam, I know everything you know, but then every single story I see them throw up is $500 full day sessions, half off for the next day, I have tomorrow open, right? Like constant cancellations, constant openings. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you know people like this. They swear they're super busy, but the only time they hop on social media is to say they have availability, right? A lot of people too, they're comfortable. Rent might be a couple grand a month at the house, a couple grand a month at the studio, they're making 10K a month, rent is paid, clients are coming in, and life feels fine. So this keeps them plateaued for years. And they're not struggling, but they're not scaling either. They say I know to everything, but their bank account exposes them to what they really understand about the business aspect of this process. Now let's talk about the contrary. Let's talk about the 50 to 100K a month business owner, the one with clarity, strategy, precision, right? I don't want to brag, and I'm not trying to come on here and brag, but I do want to educate people. And I want you guys to understand that I've never seen another person in my industry post that they have an online business and an in-person business and post receipts of how much both those businesses are making, and that amount to well over 6 figures a month. I've never seen it, but I've done it multiple times, right? Because I'm a very big fan of proof and confidence. And no matter what I had, even when I didn't have a whole lot, I was very proud of the hard work I put in. And I like to be very transparent about that because it's very inspiring to others to realize that it's possible, right? Just a few years ago, I was making less than 4K a month, living in a broken down apartment with 3 roommates and my dog. My door was knocked off the hinges because I got blackout drunk and would break that shit down. I had a total drug problem, total drinking problem, total self-control problem, right? All of these stuff and all these bad situations that people are in, I completely understand that life is not fair. And throughout a long period of my childhood, the beginning of my life, I felt like I had the underhand to a lot of people. I felt like a lot of people had way more than me. They had their fathers in their lives. They had money growing up. They had a good childhood, right? I didn't experience these things, so I always felt like I was, given less. Of course he's doing better than me, and I was trying to discredit people. But I changed my mindset. I developed clarity. I developed strategy. I started working very hard, and I've enabled myself through all of that those issues I went through to build a business that made well over 7 figures, multiple businesses. So this is really important, guys, and I only am transparent about those sort of things because I want to inspire you guys and just tell you guys honestly that you can do anything you set your mind to. I know it sounds super corny, but it's just true. So the 50 to 100K a month business owner people have clarity, strategy, precision, and these people don't just work harder, they work more intentionally. They don't guess, they don't drift, they build. This is something I've been on increasingly over the past couple of years. I always have a strategy, I always have a plan, and I always ask the people that work with me, what's your plan over the next few months? And they're like, I don't know. And that's how I know they're not serious. So they don't understand, so these people understand marketing psychology on a deeper level. They don't just post to post, they understand how people think, why people buy, how to position themselves, how to be different from everyone else, and how to control perception through their content. They're not just good at their craft, they're good at being remembered, right? Quality still has a huge plot in this, guys. If you're not putting out quality work, you are not going to be able to make money through your business. Quality is the baseline for all of this. Nobody is a 50 to 100K a month business owner who's not giving quality. So anybody watching this video, if your work itself isn't up to par with high quality work, then this video shouldn't even be for you. You should go back to the drawing board because this is for people who already have a really good quality product that they know confidently they're giving out. So they're not just good at their craft, they're good at being remembered. Number 2, they don't look at social media as just posting and getting engagement and being in front of people's faces. They look at it as nurturing, building trust, and controlling their audience's beliefs. They understand that the sale comes from consistency, storytelling, educating, documenting, showing the process, showing the why behind the work, showing the values and identity behind the brand. They don't need discounts and they don't need cancellations. People buy because there's trust, not price. So what I've noticed over time is that when I was booked out at $2,000 a day and I really started going to these premium rates, I really started charging $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per day session because after years of charging $1,000 to $2,000 per day, my increase in demand just kept going up through my personal brand. So the only way to slow down those bookings and not be booked out a year, 2 years out was by raising my prices. And what I realized was the same exact clients who were very willing to pay $2,500 never batted an eye at the difference between $2,500, $3,500 because when they're already paying a premium rate and they trust you and they're dead set on working with you, it's not about the price. It's about the experience and what they've been looking forward to, right? And it's what they understand and what they're comfortable with. A lot of people will stick with the higher price because it's something that they're comfortable with. Your content and everything has pre-sold them and nurtured and built a relationship with them for so long now that they fully trust you over somebody else who's charging a quarter of the price. Number 3 is they understand the tools and systems that convert attention into revenue. Viewers are not enough. Just because you get views doesn't mean you're converting to clients. Attention is not enough. Just because you're in people's faces doesn't mean you're in any way effective. There's dudes that post every fucking day and they still don't get any views. And a viral post is not enough either. Easy come, easy go. I've said this a million times over. What you need to understand is how to turn views into leads, leads into conversations, and then conversations into clients, and then clients into repeat buyers, and then repeat buyers into advocates that go ahead and share your name and advertise for you. That is simply what this has come down to. I've enabled myself to generate 1 million, 2 million views per day on all of my social media accounts, right? That are then funneled into a phone number for bookings because all of my content is done a certain way to pre-sell and nurture the relationship with the client. Even if the video only gets 2,000 views, you can still nurture a lot of people through that and turn them into paying clients. So once I turn those leads into conversations through my booking number, I am then going ahead and booking these people, the small percentage of them that are willing to pay the high ticket price as clients. And then those clients, I make sure they have a fantastic experience so they turn into repeat buyers. I increase the LTV, the lifetime value of working with them. And then they go ahead and tell all of their friends and everybody else they've worked with how amazing I am, right? Anybody who comes to me and says, I want to grow my business, I ask them, how is your word of mouth? Where do most of your clients come from? And if they tell me, oh, my work's really good and I have really good word of mouth and a lot of really good referrals, I'm just not super busy, that's all I need to know because I already know the fundamentals of their business are good. And if you can perfect the process of documenting that and bringing new leads in, they'll be just fine at creating repeated buyers and advocates. It's more so that initial views to leads to conversations that they're struggling with. So you need to look at your business in this funnel and really understand where you're losing people and then come to someone like me because I can help you with this process. right? I'll help you one-on-one, or you can join my school community, guys. My school community is less than the price of a nice dinner, and it is all of the information I provide for my one-on-one students just without the one-on-one calls, because I want to make this affordable to everybody, right? For only a couple $100, you can get information that is worth more than thousands, and I have a full AI in there that we've been training that is going to be able to help everyone individually answer all the questions they could have for me that aren't in my one-on-one. And the AI is fully trained off of hundreds of hours worth of info and conversations that I've put out and had with my one-on-one students that they've been paying thousands of dollars for the past year. So another thing 50 to 100K a month business owners do is they operate with structure. Every piece of content has a purpose, every week has KPIs, every quarter has targets, and they track those targets. They track high-performing content, they track lead flow, they track bottlenecks, they track conversion points, they track retention, and they track fulfillment gaps. This is where the real growth happens. So this is what I was breaking down in my one-on-one call with my elite program that you guys are about to watch later in this YouTube video. I'm breaking down how I operate with structure and use individual tools on my social media to really understand where my lead flow is, what my bottlenecks are, what my conversion points are, where my retention is, what my fulfillment is, what my highest performing content is, how many leads are coming in the door, how many of a percentage of them are we closing, etc. I talk about all of this stuff in the call, and I go more in depth on how I use the specific tools on my actual Instagram itself to sign clients and start conversations and do market research. This is very, very, very important when you really want to start scaling to 50 to 100K a month. A lot of business owners do not understand this. They still think it's just surface level, but I'm here to educate you all. I don't care. Even if you hate me, I'm giving you the game. So the next thing that these business owners do is they think long term. Even when things are going great, they're not reactive, they're proactive. They build systems that allow growth, whether they're posting every day or on vacation for 2 weeks. So for me, the first priority that I had was, now that I had developed a consistent situation and a system to posting online, the ICM, that's the system that I created to posting 3 to 5 times a day with little to no effort and only 20 to 30 minutes spent on your phone, editing, posting, etc., and filming even with your clients. So I created the ICM. It's a process for all business owners to be able to record 3 to 5 pieces of content from 1 day's worth of work, and they can consistently stay consistent with content that nurtures and pre-sells their clients. And I also have a lot of information in my school community on how to close those people. I have group calls in there with my elite program, more group calls if you want to see more videos like this, etc. So just go join the school community below. Like I said, I'm over delivering in every way, but if you're making 10 to 15K a month, it's nothing for what it's going to do for your business, right? So even in the process of my business where I knew I was making the most money and I knew it was scalable, I still was working on ways to make it better in the back end, constantly. There was never a break I took in the past few years of growing my business. Not once was I satisfied with what was going on. Of course, I was happy with the success, but I was constantly making new systems and allowing growth to a further extent and enabling myself that no matter what happened, I stayed consistent regardless. No matter what happened, the posts were still going up. No matter what happened, the work was still getting done. So regardless, you have to set up these systems on the back end to really ensure that the business keeps flowing when you're not fully present. Now, you want to know the real difference between the 10 to 15K a month people and the 50 to 100K a month people? Let's just talk about the real difference. One lives in comfort and the other lives in clarity. The 10 to 15K a month business owner is guessing. The 50 to 100K a month business owner is tracking, documenting, analyzing, and optimizing. The 10 to 15K a month owner is talented, but the 50 to 100K a month owner is strategic. The 10 to 15K a month owner posts when they feel like it. The 50 to 100K a month owner builds a brand people trust, remember, and buy from consistently. The 10 to 15K a month owner is comfortable staying busy, and the 50 to 100K a month owner is intentionally scaling. So I want to help you with becoming this 50 to 100K a month business owner. So if you want individual help and you want to go ahead and scale your business to the next level, go ahead and see down below if you qualify to work with me one-on-one. Unfortunately, for my one-on-one, it's very expensive. I'm charging anywhere from a few $1,000s for one-on-one help because I can only take on 5 to 10 clients per month. I can show you guys myself how many clients I work with per month, but I sign about 7 clients on average per month, and I'm very selective and it's very expensive. So most of these business owners are already making 20 to 30K a month, and we're scaling from there. But for anyone, I have all of the information and more in my school community that you can go ahead and look at right there down below. And also at the same time, watch this full call with my elite program so you can really have a great understanding of how we're making money online, the different tools and strategies we're using. Now everyone's gonna say, oh, Raph, well, we know you did this for yourself, you've grown your personal brand, you've grown your business, but you're Raph, and it's, we can't all do that. We can't all do the same thing. How do we know this is gonna work for us? How do we know this is really gonna help us grow our business? So here's my Instagram, and let's just go over some of the clients that I've worked with and the results we've gotten them. First off the top of my head, before we jump into all these testimonials, because I got a ton, is some very memorable ones. One is going to be Sam Watson. I mean, Sam Watson is out there in Oklahoma. He came to me making a few grand a month. He's now doing well over 25, 30K a month consistently. It's been months doing that, right? So I can only imagine how well he's been doing, but he is well on his track to doing his first 50K a month very soon. And we made that change just happen in 3 months of working together. Now also we have Creative Soul, Justin, another phenomenal artist a lot of you probably know.
Pain points, we address some things that we was attracted, and then we can shift the focus to attract what we actually want, attract who we are, so we can actually help the people that we need to help.
So right here, what we're working on with Justin is really helping him attract the right people that he wants to work with through his content. And what we did here was with Justin, Creative Soul specifically, in about 3 months of working together, he went from 1 to 2 months booked up at $2,000 a day to booked out 8 months at $4,000 a day, right? He went from having 20, 30K months to having 60K months just in tattoos, right? So his testimonial speaks for himself. He's a tried and true, very well-known artist in the industry. You can go search him up. And we helped him double up his prices and then 4x his bookings, right? So think about that. It's insane. He also already had 200,000 followers on Instagram, so we helped him gain another 60,000 in that process. But 60,000 followers of quality leads and individuals who were booking and spending a super high ticket with him to scale his business. We got Folletti over here. He's out in Ohio. He's done a couple testimonials. He actually just sent me an updated testimonial. He's bought his dream Corvette. We worked together for 6 months. He went from charging about $800 a day to now charging $2,000 a day. He went from a month booked out to now 8 months booked out. And he was a very prime person who went from 10 to 15K a month to well over 40K a month just through implementing systems for his bookings, implementing systems for his nurturing process, for his content, implementing systems in the process of the way people reach him and converting those leads into conversations and books and booked clients. Also returning clients, documenting this whole process and doing it in a way that would enable him to not burn out, right? I literally have some messages Folletti sent me yesterday, which I thought would be interesting to share with you guys. I just remembered I had. He said to me, he said, where is it? One second, y'all. So my client Folletti said to me yesterday, he said, and he had 2,300 followers when we started working together. Now he's at 8,600 followers a few months later. He's not viral. He doesn't have 100,000 followers on social media, but he's booked out 8 months charging $2,000 a day in a small town in Ohio. Think about that. Quality over quantity, guys. I'm not going to teach you how to go viral. Views are not what you should be going for. What you should be going for is quality leads and real conversions and building your business through your social media, right? So yesterday he texted me and said, my dude, told you before, I'll always tell people I had no idea what to do or how to do it. And from where we started to now, my life and business has undoubtedly changed. I'll get you an updated testimonial. Give me 2 days so I can look fresh when I do it. So he did send me an updated testimonial. I'm going to post it this week. But it's just really cool hearing stuff like that from people like Folletti. Amazing, talented, passionate business owners who I've worked with in the past. Let's go over a few more testimonials. This is Gavin. Gavin came to me making a few grand a month, and I think he was making like $6,000 a month. Now, Gavin secured $8,400 in our first week after our first call in just deposits, right? So we raised his rate. We got him to a premium rate. He's making well over 30K a month, and he is another phenomenal artist who still only has a few thousand followers. right? People think you need to be Instagram famous to get views, but you'd be surprised. The people I know with the most followers who got their following super quick are the ones who are the least busy. You want steady, consistent growth over time that keeps you booked and keeps you scaling. 15.2K in 2 weeks, only 3,000 followers. You don't need to be viral to go crazy. I also have clients in other parts of the country. Gabby is from the UK. She's been in my program twice now. She opened her own business, scaled her business, raised her rates, and she's doing absolutely phenomenal. She's now doing guest spots all over the world. Her social media has been growing. I've also worked with people who are in other industries. Gabe teaches fitness coaches and bodybuilding coaches. I helped him really just reach a bigger audience through his social media. He was having trouble bringing in the right people, and he was having trouble just overall getting engagement on his page. And he already knew how to turn those leads into conversations and money. He just needed more leads.
Is from less than $1 million. I was doing maybe 700 to 900,000 monthly profile views on my Instagram. And in 30 days, I implemented all the strategies that Raphael had me implement. I just listened to him. I didn't question it. I said, all right, I'll try it. And in 30 days, I'm now a little under 9 million monthly views. So think about what that's done for my business. Honestly, working with Raphael has been life-changing. It's been nothing short of amazing. And I'm a little mad at myself that I didn't work one-on-one with him sooner, because it was a no-brainer. In 30 days, I 9x'd my profile views. Again, just a
So like I said, guys, I'm not here to go after views. I'm here to help people turn those views into money. But listen to what he said. He said, what do you think that did for my business? He ended up the following month, after getting all those views, having the biggest organic sales month inside of his business to date. So I got way more testimonials, guys. I've helped people grow hundreds of thousands of followers. And then over here, we keep going, and you see some of the plans I'm making and the dashboards I'm making with my one-on-one students. Gavin over here collected $38,000 in 7K in just deposits, right? And that's in 1 month worth of work. This is a 20-year-old kid in New Jersey with 3,000 followers making almost 40K in a month, right? It's insane.
For about 2 years now, a little over, and I've paid for advertising, I've paid for coaching, I've paid for master classes. I pretty much paid for anything to get better as an artist, to be better on social media, to get more clients, stuff like that. And as the past probably 6 months, I've worked with my boy Raf Tats, and I've had insane growth in my business. He taught me how to post. I figured out how to edit videos, and I learned how to read my numbers, read the algorithm, and see what it likes and doesn't like. And I have doubled, even tripled my monthly income. I went from making $3,000 a month doing tattoos all the time to now making almost $20,000 a month tattooing every single day and figuring out ways to constantly stay booked.
And this was 32 weeks ago, this testimonial, guys. It's been a long time since then. He's hit insane results since then. He's doing well over 40K months now. Well over 40K months.
All right, guys.
I need to get an updated testimonial. He's Folletti telling me he bought his dream Corvette.
What's up, guys? My name is Kenzie. I'm a tattoo artist based in the Bay Area, and I've been working with Raph on this one-on-one business coaching for about a month now. Before working with him, I was getting around 1 to 3 inquiries a day, and now I'm hitting 10, which is something I did not think was possible. And I was watching all of his client testimonials before I decided to bite the bullet and just go for it, and here I am making my own. He really does know what he's talking about. He's very detail-oriented. He really does help you dive deep into your business to figure out what's working, what's not working, and how to just push it further. And it really is true. Everything that his clients have said, he's super responsive, and just honestly, he's the fuck go. So if you need a sign to make him your business coach for 2025, let this be the one.
So here, Ronnie texting me $7,000 in 8 days, right? Boom. So a kid who was also making 10 to 15K a month, worked together for 3 months, instantly jumped up to 30K months. He's an incredible content creator. You guys probably all know him. Kenzie, that was a phenomenal testimonial from Kenzie. I actually have a text message from her she sent me a little bit ago, and it says, it was a couple weeks ago, and it says, I made just under $26,000 in October. You for real changed my life. I can't even begin to thank you enough. So it's incredible the results these people can see. These blueprints and the stuff I teach for converting these views into leads, into conversations, into clients, the numbers don't lie, right? People are building their business every day working with me, and I just want to share this information with all of you guys. So that's why I'm putting out this info for free. And like I said, guys, you don't need to spend an arm and a leg. Just go join the school community below, and it has everything you need for you to get started. And then if you want to dive deeper and get into more one-on-one with someone like me, like all these people did, you can then contact me from there. So
I want to go
more testimonials. My client Maxwell and his partner opened up one of the biggest studios in Ohio. It's incredible. They've absolutely killed it. Did amazing in my program. Really stepped up their game with content, everything they've been doing. Ronnie here.
because a lot of people have been asking me how I've been growing on social media in such a short amount of time, and that couldn't have been possible without my boy Raphael, man. Shout out to my boy Raph.
So Ronnie's growing the fuck out of his social media, but on top of that, he's making money, man. He's making money. And then look at Folletti. Even though he only has 2,000 followers, still amassing 7 million views with no ads organically just on Facebook, right? So don't think just because you don't have a lot of followers, you can't advertise to a lot of fucking people. Wicked Inc. Zach right here, 5K to 15K. Halfway through the month, he's at 15K after doing 5K months previously. He's been doing 25, 30K months solid ever since then, ever since we worked together. Imagine jumping up from 5K a month to 30K a month in just 3 months of working with a guy. And he's been doing that consistently since. It doesn't just fall right back off after that. Play a Sage, $600 he was charging per day with how good his work is. I helped him in 3 months go up to $1,800 a day, and now he's tripled his bookings. He went from booked out like a month to booked out now well over 3-4 months, and he's traveling all over. But imagine raising your rates from $600 to $1,600, $1,800 in a day. That's $1,000 more you're making per day. And the quality of his work is exactly the same. He just needed the right systems for marketing, converting those leads, and turning that into money coming in the door and clients returning back as well, right? A lot of these people they know what they need to do. They just need the structure, like we were talking about with the big differences between the 10 to 15K a month and the 50 to 100K a month business owners. So I have podcasts also up. If you guys want to go on my Instagram, you can see long form podcasts up with each of these students. John West, another client of me. I texted you recently about having my best month ever in 20K. I beat it last month with 23K, shooting for 30K. I know he's been killing it. 50K a month's coming next. Sway Tats, he just opened his own studio. He's making well over 10. He was making 10K a month before. Now he's making well over 30K a month in his own spot. I helped him raise his prices. I also helped Kenzie raise her prices. I helped Justin raise his prices, Creative Soul. I helped Play a Sage raise his prices. I've helped all these people substantially raise their prices in a short amount of time. And it's not by luck, guys. Strategy plays a huge part in this whole process. Sam Watson.
A few people have asked me how I've managed to grow my business in terms of following on TikTok and other platforms.
Converting on TikTok for Sam has been insane. Just
How
using
is your
SEO,
approach to social?
understanding SEO, understanding how to attract the right people, understanding how to close those people. Look what Zach said to me, brother. Never forget how much you change people's lives, including mine, for real, dog. Because the money and fame, one thing, but the impact you have is real. You can't fake these client results. There's fake coaches and people all out there. Go message any one of these people and ask them how their experience working with me was. Please. Manny Moore, another client of mine, owns his own studio, killing it, raised his prices, went from charging fucking $1,000 a day to well over $1,800 a day, $2,000 a day. Always there when he needed me. I was always there when he needed me. Always answered the phone.
Bro, honestly, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know what direction to go, and now I feel like we have a set plan. And
Clarity.
It's been going great. We obviously been working together for a few months. And yeah, I just wanted to give credit where credit is due. Thank you, brother. Look forward to keep working with you.
What's going on, guys? It's Jazzy Fighting Out, man. I've been working.
I used to think posting on social media was all about hoping and wishing for one of your videos to go viral, and automatically you'd have all these DMs coming through and people would just pay whatever rate you wanted. I was wrong. Ever since I started working with Raphael, he taught me how to have an actual structural plan in order to have consistent posting so your clients can see this consistency in your growth, how to raise your rates efficiently and quickly. And not only that, now I feel way more confident in my posting. I don't have to spend as much time editing and stuff because having a plan and knowing exactly what you're doing is so important when it comes to business. Huge shout out and thank you to Raphael. I'm extremely excited to see what the next few months has in store for us. Thank you so much, bro.
Nearly doubled his prices, Nick. right there. And also remember, a lot of these people are in South Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, small towns. These people aren't in major cities that you think they are making this amount of money, right? So I got way more client testimonials here, guys.
What's up, guys?
Bro, I started with 2,000 followers, brother. Now I'm scaled to damn near almost 12K. This is insane. But you know what he really did for me though? Bro showed up strategically and said, well, we broke down my business and said, okay, bro, this is your business, this is your brand, right? So how do we show up for your business, for your brand?
How do we show up for
And
your
the
business
most
and your
important
brand?
thing that I've learned out of this was to show up for myself authentically, truthfully. Show the ins and outs of my business that I was scared of for the longest. And those exact things helped me grow fucking phenomenally. Like,
100%.
but like I said, I couldn't have did it without the help of my boy Raphael, man. I appreciate you so much, brother. And if you need anybody to structure that brand, Raphael's the one to do it. Let's go, man.
My boy.
What's
Xavier.
up, guys?
So guys, as you can see, I've worked with a lot of people. Zach, he wanted to start making money online. He didn't even have a crazy personal brand, but he knew he could start mentoring other people, and he was really passionate about helping people grow their business. Boom, 7K. First coaching client, 7K paid in full. I also help people start making money online. I've had a few different business owners who came to me and said they were passionate about mentoring people, and I can definitely help people turn people into high-ticket clients for that as well. Then he made another 3K within the same 24 hours. So Zach had his first 10K day.
Like I was saying, guys, I'm now
a few thousand followers.
I'm booking appointments for 2026, man. But before I say anything else, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Brad Tats, man. He really gave me the sauce to fine-tune my whole business approach and scale the shit to the next level.
He gave me the process on how to scale this shit to the next level. You know I got you guys. You know I got you guys.
What's up if I need to talk to him? And what's up, guys? I just want to make a quick video, let you guys know my experience working with Raphael. It's been a month. I've grown my page from 25,000 views to 300,000 views. I'm booked out 7 days a week, over a month. My weekends are booked out until October, and it's been like surreal. It's honestly, I was a little hesitant at first because it was a big commitment, you know, and I wanted to make sure I was ready for it. And after talking with Raphael for just a few minutes, I knew that this was the right decision. And if you're uncomfortable doing something, you know you're doing the right thing. And my page is going crazy. I got 30,000 views on a video and it's still blowing up. I'm getting messages from people and they're looking to work with me to help them grow their page, and everything's just been like insane. And I'm gonna sign up again and just keep this going because it's been absolutely amazing. My money's up. I stopped smoking weed because of him. Like, he's there 24/7 if I need to talk to him. And he's been such a good help and such a crazy just person in my life. And it's really crazy to be a part of this. And if you guys need help and you actually want to take it serious, like if you're not going to invest the time and the money and really dedicate your life to this, don't even bother. But if you guys really want to grow your life and grow your personal brand, tap in with my boy Raphael. And thank you, bro. I really appreciate everything.
My boy Zach right there. That was an amazing testimonial, guys. And also remember, guys, re-signs. I have so many people re-sign to the program. I hope everything is going great, fam. I've been thinking I want to invest again, man, in your one-on-one. I love the accountability it built for me and the strategicness. I want fucking more. I want to step to the next level. Let me know if that's something we can make happen. I said, of course, right? Like, there's a reason people are re-signing onto my program. Gabby left my program, was in the UK, scaled her business, opened another business, came back a few months later to really reach the next level. She's still killing it, guys. I have way more results. I've had clients come out to me 5K to 30K months. All right, we got a full podcast out with Wicked Inc., Zach. We got Drax. Bro, my dog is killing it out there in South Carolina. The school community, a bunch of school community wins, guys. A bunch of school community wins. Back-to-back wins from Van. Van then ended up joining the one-on-one. He's absolutely fucking killing it. Just bought his dream Corvette. Zach is going insane. And we have more wins, guys. We have more client wins. I'm super transparent with how my program is in the process. And I'm super transparent with what people are doing. So we have Axel here, 39K worth of tattoos booked in 17 days. Just 3 months into joining program, right? This guy has seen insane results. Bunch of client wins from the school community. So go join that school community if you guys want to get more of that information for a price that is nothing compared to my 101 and how expensive that is, but still is all the information. Um, and here's just more wins, guys. 3 of my dope 101 students coming out: Xavier, Gabby, Zach. Like, this is truly a family. Like, my elite program is truly a family, and I'm just so excited to see where these people's businesses are years down the line after working together. Um, so yeah, guys, that's just to show you guys some of the results not only I've been seeing, but my students have been seeing. And we're gonna have this really cool group call right here that you guys are gonna watch. So let me know what you guys think of this. And if you guys want more videos like this, just comment down below and go join my school community if you want to start being part of this growing in your business. I just basically clip up like 5 seconds of each clip that I like. And then based on if I'm using a sound or I'm doing a voiceover, if I'm using a sound, I'll clip them all to like a second and then I'll like adjust them so they go on beat, you know? And I've told you guys before, like my sweet spot's kind of like 0.5 to like 1.5 seconds for those like shorter B-roll clips when I do it with sound. So I always just get the bare bones of the video and kind of get the clips I like without even editing it up final. Like I do like what I call like a hard cut, like I'll cut out the main pieces, but it's like not my final video. You know what I'm saying? And then from those clips, I can make a voiceover and a B-roll video and you know what I'm saying, do each one. But with the voiceovers, I'll put out all the clips, like maybe make it like 45 seconds, and then I'll just go off the dome and just go off the dome, bro.
That's so hard. I'm like,
start
I feel
yapping.
like stuttering. I'm like, oh wait, fuck, and have
Well,
it go over again.
I stutter a lot too. I actually have a video of me yesterday recording myself doing it, and it took me like it took me like 8 times to get this one done that I posted yesterday. But I think that Xavier, I think I sent you one of his videos as an example. He does, I'm pretty sure. Speaking of Xavier, where is he? We got to get him on here. I think he uses a script for his, or he writes something down. You know what I mean? I think I can just, by the way he's speaking in them, it's kind of a little bit more, thought out.
Is that the one that he tattooed on his stomach that you sent me?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
dude, that one was so nice. I was comparing mine to his. I was like, damn, I sound like a goddamn robot.
Like he's a little more like thought out and like kind of like you can tell he's kind of doing like that kind of like he's reading. I think he's using some sort of script, but it's because he wants to be very intentional with the way he's like starting the video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was working with the boys a little bit, as you guys know, the team, Norm, Shad. We've been working diligently. We've been really reviewing kind of a lot of the questions you guys have been asking us to have really good prompts for these group calls that we're doing. And today, the main thing I wanted to touch on, which is analyzing your own data and doing market research inside your own niche, right? So, of course, we have people joining the program who aren't just tattoo artists, aren't just hairstylists, aren't just nail techs. We have people in all different types of business. So, this is going to be a little bit more broad in the sense of like doing market research in your own niche. Everyone can kind of do their own thing, but I didn't really specify on one industry with this stuff. So, but it's a lot of information on basically talking about just going over content and your approach to content over time, guys, regardless of what you're doing. Okay. One thing I've noticed with social media in general, and I'm sure you guys have seen this time and time again, is 99.9% of people will never be able to post every day past 90 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I told 100 people in the room right now, oh, you'll make 100 grand in a month in the next 5 years, if you just posted every day on social media, that's all you had to do. Here is a Ferrari, and here's the keys, and you have to go to this destination. They still probably wouldn't get there. You know what I'm saying? So people will not post every day on social media, but today we're going to go over analyzing your own data and doing the market research. So at the end of the day, you guys don't burn out and you guys can continue to stay on top of things and treat it more so as a system rather than just going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is honestly for me, I don't look at social media as I have to post on social media. I look at social media as, oh, I get to have a tool that actively tells me every week, every month what's going on inside my business, who's watching, how it's converting, what the content's doing. Like it's a tool. It's the best tool we have, right? We can directly talk to our warmest leads. We can directly how do you say, engage with them, speak directly to them, right? Like it is such a tremendous tool. Okay, so this is how we start using it as such. I'm gonna share my screens, guys, and y'all can see this, right? Sweet. Okay, so I went from hating school to doing presentations on Zoom. All right, let's get to it, guys. So analyzing your own data, doing market research in your niche. First things first, the most basic surface level of this is to what everybody knows, of course, about reviewing your analytics. Look at what videos generate the most views. And while this is key, the conversion to clientele for us business owners is most crucial, right? So us as business owners, we're not just influencers. We're not just posting for simply views. It's very much the contrary. We are posting for engagement. We are posting for follows from the right people, from our ideal client, right? From people interested in directly what we're selling. You might have 100,000 followers and make sub 10K a month, but there's people with 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers making well over 10K a month because those 1,000, 2,000 people who follow them are there for exactly what they're selling. You know what I mean? Their content is comprised of their business, so they're only attracting people who would be interested in buying from their business. Now, us as service providers, usually it's us providing the service. And with that in mind, we obviously are a little bit more of a personal brand. We are going to definitely have more personal aspects in our content, more of our interests, basically attracting the people that we know we're going to resonate with. So that's still very much true. We need to keep that in the back of our heads. So it's a little bit more, we're like in the middle of creating content and running a business, right? We're in the middle of personal branding and making the right connections and the right conversations with the right people and promoting our business solely. So most people just look at what generates the most views, but for us, we have to take more data into consideration, especially the sales. So pay attention to your inquiries, see how they match up that week to posting, and focus on conversations started that are of value, potential clients, questions, and polls, right? As you guys post online, what you're going to realize is that there are way more avenues to make money online than you guys realize, okay? At first, it begins with, okay, I'm going to be posting my service and just selling my service, right? But over time, for you to really scale your business, of course, you want to be able to make money online as well, right? Once you're capped off with how much work you can do as an individual, you want to go ahead and start making money online as well. Okay. So this applies to selling high ticket service based offers as well, right? Like I could sell a 30, 40, $50,000 even anesthesia package through some of the stuff I'm about to talk about, right? I also give examples for how I've closed clients for my one-on-one with these different types of content. But this is really going to be our direct market research to see how our content is performing at that time, right? These are the tools that we're going to be using to really see how our content is performing throughout those weeks, right? And we might think, oh, just this week, how many inquiries do we get? But this is how we go deeper beyond that surface level of just like how many inquiries did we get? How many views did we get, right? Everybody knows those metrics, but this is how we really start using our page as a tool.
Hey, can I ask a question first?
Go ahead, Oscar.
You think you should be well established in your business before you start doing like any type of coaching or anything like that?
Yes, I 100% do.
Because
And
I tried coaching just for a little bit, but I noticed I didn't have that trust and credibility yet.
yeah, yeah. And what I tell people is this, look, there are certain levels in business that certain people help get people to, right? Like some people might have an offer that is strictly structured towards helping people get from 1K a month to 10K a month, right? For a lot of people, $100,000 a year is a lot of money, right? And if you're working hard and making $100,000 a year, like you can have a good life off of that, right? So there are people that structure their offers helping people get from 1K to 10K a month, right? If Oscar was going to go ahead and say, hey, I've consistently done 10 to 15K a month for the past year, I'm going to help people making 1 to 3K a month get to 10 to 15K a month for the next year. That is a reasonable goal. It's something he actually has credibility in that he could teach, right? For me personally, with the clients that I work with, I think most of you guys could scale to 50K a month before you ever start teaching someone else how to do it. Because a lot of you guys very easily and very capably have the potential to do so, but also at the same time, these systems I'm about to be talking about are applicable to even the services that we provide. You Kenzie, you, Van, could sell a $10,000 back tattoo off of the exact things I'm talking about right now with market research. So anything high ticket, definitely applicable to, even low ticket, right? With these strategies, I close even $200 tattoos in the DMs. And by close, I mean literally responding to a message or starting a conversation and being like, hey, you want to get that tattooed? Just come to the shop today between 1 and 3 o'clock, and they show up, you know? So these can be very simply used, but they can also be used for high ticket service-based offers, etc., online offers, whether you want to start coaching, whatever. Use stories to do market research on top of your videos, on top of the content you're making weekly, and sift through your warmest leads. Even if you have a small following, even if you're only averaging 100, 200 views on your story, think about how many people is 100 or 200 people inside of a bar or a room, right? If you go to the bar and there's 100 people in there and someone finds out that you're a fucking hairstylist or you're a fucking tattoo artist, like, what do you think is the first thing? Everybody's gonna bombard you with questions about that, right? It's just happened to all of us time and time again, no matter what we do, right? That's what people start talking to us about. It's like my client the other day, she walked in the shop and she's a dog trainer, and my boy just starts going off about his dog. And I'm like, isn't that like the equivalent of like someone talking my ear off about tattoos at the bar? Like, I totally feel like so bad for this girl. My boy's just been talking about his dog for like an hour and a half. But anyways, so 100 to 200 people is a lot of people, and that is what our stories is. It is our warmest leads, right? If these people don't feel comfortable enough to engage with our stories, they're not asking quality questions, they're not really asking questions at all, they're not engaging enough. That is something you need to work on. That right there is market research. That right there shows you guys that people are still getting comfortable even asking you questions. They still feel like they're not even ready at that level yet to approach you and ask you for information. So maybe you haven't posted enough content. Maybe you haven't built enough trust or value on your stories. Maybe you haven't come off in a way that you seem approachable enough, right? And sometimes it doesn't mean you're unapproachable. It just means maybe they're not comfortable enough yet. Like maybe they haven't seen you enough or digested enough of your content to really feel comfortable to ask you a question, right? So sometimes it's just about how much content and what type of content you're posting. If you're only posting 4 or 5 times a week, maybe once a day during the week, during the work week, not even on the weekends, and you're only posting one 6 second long B-roll clip, it might be hard for people to really, really, what I'm saying, feel confident to like start a conversation with you and start messaging you and trust you, right? Inquiries will come in, you know what I'm saying? I still think regardless, if you posting consistently, inquiries will come in. And I wrote something about that in another part of this whole graph that I put together. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But questions and answers, always an amazing tool. Use this weekly on your stories to see who's engaging and how that matches up to content posted over not only that week, but months prior. Because the nurturing process takes time, but it works 10 times out of 10, right? So when you guys are nurturing clients, when you guys are building this relationship, you guys might only see immediate gains in terms of like, you might only be focused on how many inquiries am I getting right now? How many inquiries am I getting this week? How many inquiries am I getting next week? What is my content doing in terms of numbers, etc. But what you really need to focus on is those 10 to 100 people that watch your videos every single day that will be booking with you 3 or 4 or 5 months from now, right? There is a nurturing process that goes on and a lot of trust and credibility established in just those few months of consistently posting back to back to back that you don't see for another 6 months later, right? Like there's a long-term gain out of posting right now. And that is what a lot of people don't realize, right? Because the nurturing process takes a long time. You need to be using your stories and you need to be using your content posted over that week to see how the engagement did, not for now, but also for later, right? Like you're going to see basically like right now, if you're posting content and you're getting really good leads, you're getting really good conversations started, those are almost what you call like micro changes or like micro like changes for what's to come later down the line. Because later down the line, that compound interest just adds up times 10. And later down the line, what I've realized is that most of my clients that fly from out of state with me, book with me for a really large scale tattoo, and honestly pay the most money are always people that have followed me for at least a year or two. So it took a year or two of them consuming my content day after day after day, and me being in the forefront of their minds for them to make a decision to say, I'm going to spend 6 grand and go get a hotel and a flight and go get tattooed by this guy, you know? So that nurturing process is a long process for someone to truly spend a lot of money with you, right? These people are not getting tattooed because they are rich as fuck. I do not tattoo celebrities and the richest people. I tattoo normal people. I work with normal people. A lot of you guys that are in my program that are paying me a lot of money that we're working together are normal people, right? It's a lot of money for all of us. So it takes a lot of time to really generate that trust with somebody for them to truly trust you to spend their hard-earned money with you. And it should take time, right? That's how people get scammed. They don't take their time. They don't see someone over and over month after month. They jump into something because on the surface level it looks really good, and that's how they get fucked over, right? So your clients will do their diligence. They will watch you month after month, and they will do their research on you. And if you fall off, they're going to the next guy. Trust me. So another reason to keep posting. So example, this week, ask me a question. Always doing ask me questions, always answering questions. I'll even change this prompt, guys, and I'll say, ask me a question that's business related or ask me business related questions. If I were you guys and I was providing a specific service, I would be like, ask me a question about XYZ. Or you can also do what, for example, my apprentice did. My apprentice told me, he's like, Raph, I'm not getting really good engagement. I'm not really getting good questions from my ask me a question. I did a couple of them. They got me a few good questions, but then it started to get boring. I said, change the prompt to what's your dream tattoo? He had hundreds of people reply with their dream tattoo. And he just started sending people messages who looked like they had money. He was like, hey, I could do your dream tattoo. Why don't we do it? He ended up booking like 8 or 9 clients off of that alone, right? So very important, guys, that we're doing the ask me a question. We're playing with the prompts as well. And if you guys know that there's frequently asked questions clients are asking you in the DMs or etc., go ahead and just ask yourself the question. Like, just ask yourself the question, post a couple stories up, show people that you're answering questions of substance, of value, and you're going to encourage people later on to start asking those same questions, right? When I first started doing Q&As on my page, even with a lot of followers, it was a similar problem. I wasn't getting no questions, but I was getting too many questions about dumb shit. Oh, are you single? What's your type? Like stuff like that, right? Like dumb shit, right? So I only answered the questions that were business related, and I asked myself business related questions. Over the course of those next 2, 3 months, people started to see my story as a free source of value. And then all I got was business related questions, right? So don't get discouraged in that process, guys. You need to stay consistent through your stories as well to really show people that you're a source of information and they can trust you. You guys don't realize how much trust is created in the stories, right? If someone is looking just to get tattooed or just to get their hair done, speak to that client every single day on your story, right? Speak to the problems they may have, speak to the concerns they may have, speak to the pain points that they might be facing. If you guys need an idea of what pain points your ideal client is facing, go watch the Train Your AI module and train your AI and use your AI to come up with the pain points for your ideal client, right? So, question and answers. Also, something else I did this week that you guys should be testing throughout posting your content, your reels, okay? Story posting a CTA, a hard CTA. During the week of posting current content, promoting my business, I did one hard CTA and it was for mini tattoos. I want to book more of these mini tattoos because for me, it's a great way for me to scale my business. Right now, I'll be honest with you guys, my tattoo business, I'm tattooing about 3 or 4 days a week and I'm doing about 12K a week. So it's probably about 48K, 50K a month just off of working 3 or 4 days a week tattooing. So my goal is I don't want to tattoo more days. I want to make more on the days that I tattoo. And I have a long commute right now. I'm traveling to Fort Lauderdale. So I'm driving an hour north to go to my job to do my clients. And I know in my head, I can knock out one of these mini portraits in 1 hour or 2 hours, and I can charge 1,500 to 2,500 for these tattoos, right? On average. So if I'm doing a $4,000 tattoo session quarter sleeve that takes me 8 hours from 1 to 8 o'clock, and I know I can work a 12-hour day, no problem. I'm gonna start going in at 10 a.m. and try to double up on all of these days with a mini portrait for either $1,500 or $2,000 before my $3,500 or $4,000 session that afternoon. And that's how I turn the work days that I'm already tattooing all day into just a couple hours longer, but $2,000 more that day. So I can, if I add just one client a week with this hard CTA on top of the existing appointments I have, I'm already making an extra 8 grand that month. Just one client a week, right? Like that's my goal. I can make 6 grand to 10 grand a month, just have one client a week with these mini portraits. And I know they're no problem for me to do it. And my clients love them. And I have a lot of followers who don't want to commit to large projects. So I push these smaller projects in between just to get people interested and also double up on the revenue I'm making those days. Okay. So I did a hard CTA for a mini portrait this week. Didn't do that well. I got one client from it, one $1,500 client secured from this post. Not many, right? But off of one story post, I made $1,500. It's not bad, right? Most influencers with 100,000 followers are getting paid $1,500 to make a whole reel for a company, right? And those only come around a couple times a month, those deals with companies, right? So us as real business owners have the opportunity to make $1,500 off one story post. It's pretty dope, right? So these hard CTAs in our story are really going to show us how our content is engaging new people throughout the week. What I noticed from this, and this is going to be my new approach after seeing that I only secured one client from this, my new approach is I'm going to double down on the 3D background videos for my reels. What this is going to do is I'm going to promote this specific offer because it will help me scale. Like I just told you guys, if I just do one of these clients a week, I can easily do it on top of my day sessions, and I'm adding 8 grand a month to my business, right? And I don't care who you are, if you're making 10, 20 grand a month, 10 grand a month, or 50K a month, an extra 8 grand a month is a lot of money, right? So if I can just show up 2 or 3 hours ahead, one day a week, and do one of these appointments off of one story post, I'll very happily do it, right? So I'm gonna double down on my 3D.
Question.
Talk to me, Oscar.
How would you, like, for example, how would you do the CTA? Because I know it's a call to action part. Would you just put, here's my number, DM for these mini tattoos?
So yes, exactly like that. I literally just did a talking video on my story, and I can pull it up honestly. Let me just pull up the story and I'll show you exactly what I said. So what I had done previously a few days before is I was doing more market research. I had done a poll where I said, how much would you pay for a mini portrait for me? And hundreds of people voted that they'd pay 1,500 or 2,500. So I knew I wasn't tweaking when I put my price, right? Because I was like, I know there's dudes charging in Miami 5 grand for these mini portraits. So I knew I was still at a fair price, right? Like look at your market, look at who's around you, look what they're charging, right? And look who's on your level. I know dudes that have 500,000 followers that do those mini portraits for 5 grand. So I know what the market is looking like over here. But they're not as fast as me. Those guys take hours. I can do it in an hour or 2 hours. Let me pull up this story real quick.
That's insane. I can't believe you're doing portraits in an hour. My God.
Easy money. Clients love them, and I have so much fun doing them. It's like refreshing. Where's this story? All right, here we go. One thing I noticed from reviewing my analytics is definitely. See, I'm literally talking about reviewing my data in this video. Okay. So guys, that's why this module is called analyzing your data. Like this money I'm making is strictly off of reviewing my data consistently. Not everybody follows me and likes, enjoys my art, wants to get tattooed something that's like a big ass project, right? Like a full sleeve, full arm, full back. And I posted that poll the other day of who wants to get like small portraits from me and what their budget would be. As you can see by small portrait I did right here. And I got thousands of votes. So I'm gonna open up some spots in the next couple months for some little mini portraits. They're quick, they don't take me too long. I enjoy doing them. I'll do family references as long as the reference is clear. I'll do pet portraits. I'll do celebrities. I'll do musicians. Whatever it is, I'll do a special for the next few people. I just want to tattoo and connect with all my followers, especially people who don't want to commit to large projects. No problem with that. So what I'm doing here, guys, with this story post is I'm calling out my ideal client. I literally say on the video, I say, if you're serious and you're ready to put a deposit down, and you voted on my poll the other day, I'm talking to a specific group of people who are watching my story. You voted on my poll the other day. If you're looking to get a pet portrait, a family portrait, a famous celebrity, I'm mentioning exactly what type of portraits I'm trying to do. Mentioning exactly what type of portraits I'm trying to do. And what I'm doing by that is I'm just creating product awareness, guys. This is what's very important about this. You might post something and think, oh, I let everyone know. But no, not everyone knows. Only a small portion of your followers know. Right? So to really hammer things in, I got to have a lot of product awareness. Right now, I have hundreds of thousands of people who follow me right now who would get mini portraits. I know it, right? Because the clients who have came and gotten them from me recently have told me, oh, I didn't even know you did these. Like, I love these, blah, 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 blah. So product awareness, very important. My new approach after only booking one client from my story is going to be that I'm going to do more 3D background videos doubling down on promoting this specific offer, right? So very, very, very good example right here of product research and using your stories and using the analytics to really understand what route you need to go with your posting. Hard CTAs on the story, see what reaction you get. Based off of that reaction, see how you can double down on product awareness through your reels, right? Your reels are going to be your back end for bringing back your story to life, okay? And as your story comes to life, you're going to guide that by guiding the question and answers, talking on your story to your ideal client so people feel comfortable watching your story on a regular basis. Now, another way that you can use market research and use your stories as a tool is to do the polls. The polls are to see who's engaging and maybe start conversations, right? I think when me and Kinsey first started working together, literally after our first call, I was like, do a question and answers. And I think she booked like 5 clients or some shit like the first day we worked together. So great way to start conversations, especially when you've been posting content and people are like just on the verge of booking, but they don't have all their questions answered. As long as they're comfortable with you, they will ask the right questions and you will start the right conversations. So polls are also really good because then you could reach out first, right? I don't care what you say. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. If I see a dude driving a Lamborghini and he's got some nice tattoos and a Rolex and he lives in Miami and he liked my poll about getting tattooed, I'm messaging that motherfucker and I'm telling him it's $5,000 for an appointment and I'll do a house call. And they bite. Trust me, they bite. Okay. Same thing goes for ideal clients for my coaching program. I work with a very specific individual, guys. I work with very specific people. I work with someone who has a good quality product, right? Who simply is just lacking advertising themselves correctly online, right? And needs that guidance, or they're advertising themselves really well online, but they don't know how to convert those followers into actual clients, right? Like what I was just talking to you guys about, the market research with my question and answers and going back and seeing the data for how many people booked, et cetera, from certain CTAs, and then doubling down my approach on my reels to double down on that product awareness. The same would go for my coaching, guys. If I tell myself, oh, not many people are messaging right now for coaching, I'm not getting good leads, I'm going to go ahead and make content that speaks directly to the people that would be perfect for my program. And I do these polls to see who's engaging so I can pick out who's perfect for my program. Off of one poll I did this week, well, I did a couple polls in the past 7 days. So I did one here. I did one here. And what I'll do with this is I'll get probably on average a few hundred and like I said, guys, even if you only have a couple hundred people viewing your store and you only get 10 votes from this, still a way to start really good conversations because you call out the ideal client. I asked a question that would only apply to my ideal client. What's stopping you from scaling your business? If you're not a business owner, you're not going to be scaling your business, right? And if you're not making a few grand a month, you're probably not worried about scaling. You're worried about starting. You get what I'm saying? So what's stopping you from scaling your service-based business? I wanted to be a little bit more specific to service-based businesses. And what I did from this is I picked out a couple people who fit my ideal client, right? They looked like they were making money. They looked like they were doing well. They looked like they're probably making 6 figures a year, but I knew they were capable of way more because the quality of their product was well, and they were lacking the way they were promoting themselves online. And guys, I have a Ferrari sitting outside and a Maybach. I promise it's only because I started posting on Instagram. Instagram is a tool that is insane, right? So when I see kids that are really talented and I know all they're lacking is posting on Instagram to really get to that next level or business, I'm talking about grown men as well. I've worked with grown men, women that are super professional, own businesses, right? It doesn't matter if you're a kid or whatever it is. If you are not posting on social media and you have a quality product or service, you are missing out on so much money on the table, right? So when I see a good individual who I'd like to work with and I see their attitude and their content, they're super authentic, I see that I like their personality and they're not afraid to be on camera, I go ahead and reach out to those people. From these polls, I closed one client a couple of days ago for $7,000 paid in full for 3 months of my program, right? It wasn't just anyone, it was a perfect client. It was a perfect ideal fit, right? And I closed a couple more other people this week. One of them was through an inbound lead where he had messaged me a keyword because he had seen my other content and messaged me a CTA keyword. And then another client was through a booked call. So this is why I love high ticket, guys. This is why I focus really on my person who takes my bookings handling most of the bookings inquiries that come through on a daily, and then I focus on reaching out to the people I'm trying to close for high ticket clients, right? Especially with my anesthesia sessions, etc., with tattoos. Very, very, very high ticket. I want to make sure that deal goes through. I want to make sure I'm handling those personally, as well as some of these DMs where I can snipe out people that I really want to work with. I really like handling that personally as well. So my new approach to this is if you watched my previous posts, so what you guys are noticing, I'm sure, guys, is that as I'm analyzing these polls, as I'm analyzing these CTAs, as I'm analyzing these Q&As, I'm always creating a new approach, right? How can I use my reels? How can I use other things to improve on this, right? This is the data that most people aren't taking into consideration when they're reviewing their content, right? So I'm going to have a new approach with polls like this because some people might be shy to start a conversation, but I can choose best prospects myself. And I'm not going to overdo the polls, but I'm going to make it part of my weekly story schedule. So like once or twice a week, right? So I'm basically just making small adjustments, guys, based off of each individual tool I have and how people react to it, right? I might get 100 questions on a Q&A and 20 of those questions are of substance or like decent questions, and I might get 3,000 votes on a poll, and there might be 10 people in there that are really good leads that I really want to talk to, and they've been following me for years, but they just haven't had the guts to kind of reach out or like the urge to reach out yet because they just haven't been confident in doing it, right? So starting these conversations is really important, guys. And the reason I've noticed how important these conversations are is because my old mentor was somebody who was very old school, right? He posted every day on social media to promote his business, but only to the same like few hundred people he had on the page watching. You know, like it was never like to go viral, never anything like that. He just stayed in the forefront of people's minds. He would always tell me on Christmas, on birthdays, message your clients, message your clients. He always told me to do it. And I always overlooked it because most artists don't do that stuff. And he always stayed busy, even with only 200 followers on Instagram he had. So these conversations matter, right? And when you look at your polls and you're weekly studying the engagement on your stories, because your stories are the people, like I said, those 100 people that watch you all the time, that's where you want to make sure those conversations matter and you want to have genuine conversations because a lot of people just think they're too good to like talk to their clients. I think that's insane, right? Like, I think that even if we're working a few hours a day, these conversations are something we have to make priority for, and we have to be engaging and doing this analytics through our social medias. It's our best tool. So
I got a question for that.
talk to me.
So whenever you say start conversations, would you go inside their DMs just trying to answer their questions, or would you also like provide some type of input to try to convince them that, get that tattoo?
Well,
You know what
yes.
I mean?
I mean, it's one of those things too, where it's like it just depends on how forward you want to be, right? If somebody
Okay.
has, if somebody, for example, Oscar, I closed you in the DMs the other day.
Yeah.
And our conversation was pretty straightforward. I asked you a few questions to qualify you, but for the most part, I saw from your business, from your page, what quality work you were putting out, how you were growing, how you had made so much progress over the past couple of years, how you were putting in a bunch of effort, but you needed some more like structure to it, right? I noticed all those things. So you'll generally be able to see a client and see if they're going to waste your time or if they're serious, right? If someone has a private account and I can barely see a picture of them and they're asking me about like a $10,000 tattoo, I'm probably not even going to reply. I'll send them to the booking number. But if it's somebody who has a public account and I can see they have a nice car and a nice watch, I'll message them and try and book them right there for the appointment, right? If not, I still know those normal people get tattooed by me. So I'll just be like, hey, if you have any questions, just let me know. I just leave the door open for conversation.
Okay,
If you
okay, that
ever
makes
need,
sense.
if you ever need anything, let me know, bro. If you ever have a question about a tattoo you want, let me know. If I can't get back to you, just text my booking number and someone will get back to you, right? So the point is you're just leaving open that channel of conversation, right? And that's super important.
All right, thank you.
Of course, bro. So guys, these are the three tools we want to be focusing on. I'm gonna write another note right here just so we can just kind of emphasize on this approach. But three tools commonly used by business owners to see is occurring with more misleads. Q&A. This is to answer immediate questions from warm leads. Guide this over beginning. Polls. Who's engaging on a surface level? And just get general info, budgets. So guys, like I said, I posted a poll the other day where I was like, how much would you guys spend on a portrait from me? Right? Like just seeing what budgets people had, just seeing where most people were voting, seeing what they were thinking they would spend, right? Like all of this little market data is important, okay? If you are a coach of some sort, right? What are people, what are they losing clients in? What's the bottleneck in your business? You can have a poll that says, are you losing people in sales? Are you losing people in bringing inbound leads? Are you losing people with your content? Are you losing people with your follow-up? Are you losing people with your actual offer and program itself? Is it not enough, right? Like you need to understand what part of the business is having issues. So when you post these polls, it's a great way for you to just get that market research no matter what business you're in. And then story CTA. See how many people are directly buying from your stories. And I'll tell you what, guys, when I was I know there's a module in the school called Money Run Framework, and it talked about where I was making the month I made the most money in my coaching, where I was really pushing it hard. And it was the month where I went to Massachusetts and I wasn't really tattooing as much. So I was dedicating, 100% of my time to my coaching, right? And I was really active on my stories. And during that time, my story CTAs were going insane. I had so many people trying to join the program, but I just had to cut it off because I didn't know really how many people I could take on in total for me to accurately give everyone a good one-on-one, right? But throughout that whole period of time, I was using these tools, and you will start to see the difference in when you are extremely active on your page. So those are the tools that we're going to be using on our stories to actively do market research and analyze our data from our content throughout that month, that week. Now, one thing that we talked about a little bit, but I want to double down on is just the understanding that some videos might get less views, but they convert better overall, right? For example, the voiceover content, it shows authority, it builds trust faster, and you can get a few 100,000 views and get hundreds of clients off of that, right? I have clients of mine that have only a few thousand followers. They don't have a lot of, how do you say, social proof, right? They don't have millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, not super credible, but their work is good and they did a really good voiceover that shows authority and explains their process that got a few 100,000 views and it brought them so many clients and it's still bringing them clients, right? So you don't need to have hundreds of thousands of followers to truly convert really well with high quality content and a high quality product. So that's why I really urge you guys to do the voiceover content. It's so important. And it's going to be something that really is going to display through data and analytics. I'm telling you this, guys, through data and analytics, voiceover content and showing your process of working with the client and the final result is what's going to do the best for you in terms of conversion. But at the same time, I do like you guys to use all elements of the ICM because it all helps with certain areas that clients might have doubts to work with you in. Like we've talked about before, like the organic raw content, very important for people to just see the environment as it is, organic raw. For the voiceover content, it builds authority, it builds trust, right? For the B-roll content, it grabs people's attention on the surface level. For the 3D background content, it's just very specific for, like I was talking about before, product awareness and getting the attention on something specifically, especially when maybe you don't have content to make that day, but you have previous work you have pictures of. It could be a landscaping client, could be anything. You could do a 3D background video. I've seen clients do it even with like car rentals, the car market, etc. So all those different types of content, I want you to be using them, guys, but some just have a different result, and voiceovers are just one of those videos that is going to get you for less views, the right attention, and more conversion to clients. Overly entertaining content that's not authentic, like skits, it probably will get millions of views, but zero conversion to clientele, right? I mean, I think we all know how we feel about that stuff. We are trying to promote our businesses, not trying to be overly entertaining and just get people to follow us because we're funny. If it was about getting views is easy. It's about bringing the right people into our business. So there's key words, guys. If we're making most of our content about what we are trying to promote, that is who we are going to attract, right? On the surface level, guys, for business owners, search up people in your industry who are doing well and study what's working consistently and also take inspiration from other content creators. I'm pretty sure we all fucking know this. But the main point of me saying this is so I can dive a little bit deeper. So I want to give you guys a good example of how I'm actively doing this so you guys can see how someone with, you know, has been doing this for years and years and years continues to adapt their approach and refine their offer and study their content, study their analytics. So I was trying to do podcast type content, video formats that are performing well for others, right? Even though I had a system that was doing really well for me, I still like to try new things, see how people resonate with it, see how it converts to a business standpoint, right? So this is the main point of not burning out. Don't force yourself to do something that you don't resonate with. It's never going to be convenient to do content, guys. Like even for me to this day, guys, years in the game, been making content. I fucking still just dread it some days, but I do it anyways. Truly put effort into seeing what's working for others and trying it yourself and seeing results it yields. And not just once or twice. Like I'll tell people, try this type of content. Try doing a voiceover, try doing a day in the life, try this. They'll be like, oh, I did 1 or 2 last month. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is that? Like, do more, right? So don't just do it once or twice. Like I see a lot of you got like a lot of you guys doing. I'm not gonna say any names, but there's some people in this group that need to diversify their content, and they only tried a different type of content like once or twice, and they're like, oh, it's not for me. You need to try it more. So at least see a lot of people doing this, but post a content format for a couple months and then look back. I know a couple months sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a lot. So post it for a couple months, a few weeks, and look back at the results, and then you can have a good idea of if you enjoyed doing it, what result it yielded, how it converted to clients, etc. Okay. So here's an example of me doing that. I started doing these videos of me sitting down talking, reading off a teleprompter, and these were getting good views. Look at this. Look at that. 1.1 million views, 200,000 views. These ones weren't doing as hot, but that's why you keep posting because it's gonna perform better some weeks than others, right? So these are doing decent numbers, but overall the content performed well. I got good engagement. This is my takeaway from posting this content for a couple months. This is how I want you guys to implement new content and then reanalyze it after, right? So the content performed well. I got good engagement and it brought a decent amount of leads, but it felt rushed some days. It was too planned out because a lot of these were like scripts coming from ChatGPT and AI. Of course, like I was writing down the ideas and what I wanted to speak on, but the actual like way it was formatted was made by ChatGPT. And really, it's what the other people in the industry who are leading with this type of content are doing. So that's the reason I did it that way, right? Sometimes it felt not so authentic depending on my mood. I'm a fucking human being, so I get like we have moods. Like I'm like you guys, right? I fucking am not a perfect person. What's that song that's like, I'm not a perfect person? All right, anyways. So I just didn't like it some days, guys. I felt like I was like fucking not fucking with it for some reason. Just whatever, bro. I just didn't like it, right? It did well, it did decent for my business, but that's not the only thing that matters. We don't want to burn out. We want to see what we resonate with. So my older content was working though, in terms of making me money. So if my older content wasn't making me money and this content was making me money, I would probably go with what made me money because that matters a lot, right? But I would try to incorporate something elements into it that would make it more enjoyable, right? Or make it less planned. Maybe I would change the frequency of it because I was posting those videos so frequent. Maybe I would change the frequency, right? These are different ways you can start playing with content, especially if it yields a high result in terms of income. But this content didn't really make me more money overall. So I went back to my older type of content, mostly B-roll, voiceovers, and raw clips. This is what I'm posting a lot lately, guys, because it's me. And the freedom of being able to do and focus on what I enjoy is the most rewarding, right? So if someday I feel like maybe I have some stuff to get off my chest I want to talk about, maybe I'll bring back that format. But right now, my content I've been doing that's more voiceovers, B-roll, raw clips, focused on my business is performing the best. People enjoy it, and I don't find it too difficult to make, and it yields a high reward, and it builds a lot of trust and authority. So we're fucking with that. So that's how I would review my analytics from posting a new type of content, right? And this is what I want you guys, of course, to start doing. So what happens in this process that fucks most people up, right, is it's boring. It's very boring. Who the fuck can post past 30 days or past 90 days straight on social media? Not most people, because it's boring and it takes time. And where most people fail or get shiny object syndrome and distracted, right? I've seen countless entrepreneurs get lost and comfortable during this. Guys, I have a full-time cameraman. I have a full-time person who helps me create content. And even he will go weeks or months without reviewing the analytics behind the content and making adjustments unless I remind him to, right? So you guys have to realize that even someone who does this for a full-time job, which we all have our main businesses and this is our side gig, basically posting online, right? Like it's hard for even someone like that to keep always continuously readjusting and looking at the data and posting new polls and questionnaires and seeing how people are engaging, et cetera, right? It's very difficult. So this process is very boring, but you need to actively be remembering and telling yourself that this is going to be for, how do you say, that this is going to be the most important part of making progress in your content, right? If you don't continue to do this, this is where most content creators are coming to me and saying, hey, I grew 20,000 followers back in the day, but I just stopped right there and I've been stagnant for the past 9 months, right? It happens all the time, right? Because they don't do this process correctly, right? And they get shiny object syndrome. They're like, oh my God, I posted every day for the past 3 months and I have hundreds of inquiries and I'm booked up for the next 4 months and I'm busy and I'm hiring 2 new hairdressers at my salon and I'm good. And then they just fall off of posting, they stop reviewing the analytics and data, and then 4 months later, their bookings dry up and they're back at square one, right? So this process is extremely important. You don't want to get shiny object syndrome and just focus on all the clients coming through the door, because without looking back at the data, analyzing it, and continuing coming up with the content, the clients are not going to continue to sustain and continue to come in as a consistent client lead flow, right? So that's one of the issues with that process. Another common issue with this process is you must focus on doubling down the momentum. What I mean by this is this is what I was just talking about. You will get new clients in your business quickly and see results if you're posting consistent quality content. The problem is people then, instead of mastering this process and doubling down on what's working, they focus on trying to diversify streams of income or other things. So in some cases this works, but usually only for people with existing large followings. And even then, it depends on what you've posted because this will all create who your following is, right? So what I mean by this, guys, is I have clients that come through the program are like, I want to scale from 10K a month to 20K a month. Quicker than they even anticipate it, I help them scale to 20K a month, right? One price raise and a few months of posting, and they have tons of inquiries and their prices are up and they're making 20 grand a month consistently, right? But then they get shiny object syndrome and they just start focusing on that. Or they're like, I made 40 grand in the past 2 months. Where do I start investing? And then they're like calling me, asking me about like what other things they can invest in, et cetera, right? Right. I'm not saying investments are bad. What I'm saying is don't get shiny object syndrome, guys. As you make progress and scale your business a little bit, continue to double down on that momentum, right? That is so important. Rather than thinking, oh, I just scaled to 20K a month. Now let me take my money and see what I can do with it and buy it and start doing this and start doing that, which I've seen so many people do. Like I said, focus on just doubling down on your momentum, right? Okay, stop trying to diversify streams of income. Stop trying to worry about other things. Get your business to a point that you are going to be making a lot of income monthly. And then you have the freedom of making whatever investments you want because you're more than comfortable enough to put money here, put money there, et cetera, right? Later on, right? For me, guys, if I started making 20K a month and I did this exact thing. I made 20 grand a month, guys. First thing I did was take a whole month off of tattooing to breed my dog. I took a whole month of tattooing off and I'm like, I'm going to be a dog breeder. This is going to be a great way for me to extra 30K. Well, you know what I did? I ended up having 7 puppies, making zero money off of them, not tattooing all month, feeling so bad because I couldn't sell them for money because I didn't know what homes they were going to. I gave them all to my friends and I made zero money that month. All because I was like, let me diversify my income and have a side hustle and start breeding dogs on the side. No, 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 guys. Focus on the bread and butter. If you did something that was working and you started making more money and scaling, double down on that momentum. That's what I should have done. And that's what I did immediately after. I got my dog fixed. I gave all the puppies to my friends and I doubled down on my momentum that I had. And I just doubled down on what was working because that is where I immediately, very quickly, 6 months later, started scaling to 30, 40K a month, right? So double down on your momentum, guys. This is very important. And what I mean by people with existing large followings, then going ahead and diversifying streams of income and it working is basically someone like me who has a business like tattooing, right? I was already doing 50K. I was doing on average 70 to 80K a month when I was tattooing full time, right? So from that income, I had proven in this space that I was reputable, and a lot of people followed me who were business owners from that. So when I went to go open my one-on-one coaching, yes, guys, I did make a lot of money right off the rip, and I was able to effectively help these people and start building that business quickly. And I diversified streams of income right there. But it was a lot of trust and credibility established over time to be able to make that sort of money off of diversifying my income during that time, right? So I want you guys to realize that you got to set yourself up for these big changes. You have to set yourself up for diversifying your income in a way that's adjacent to what you're already doing, right? If someone owns a company that exterminates roaches, they're not going to go start a company tomorrow that sells cargo ships. You know what I'm saying? Like it has nothing to do with one or the other, right? What that guy who kills and exterminates roaches is going to do is he's going to start a cleaning company. Because what he's going to do is he's going to come through, exterminate all the roaches, and then the cleaning company is going to be an upsell right after, where he's going to sell the business owners on saying, well, now you're going to have 1 million dead cockroaches, so just have my cleaning company come through for this amount of money and they'll clean everything up. What I mean by that is you want to set yourself up through your main business to have something adjacent that you start later on, right? And that's how you diversify your income properly. Okay. So double down on the momentum you have as you're posting. The most common issue is going to be trying to switch things up too quickly and diversify things. For example, right? People with large followings don't always have, this is me breaking down a little bit more what I wrote over here, where I wrote, some people have a lot of followers and zero conversion of clientele, and some people have thousands of followers and it builds tons of authority, the content that they post, and they have a lot of clients, right? So this is just some examples. I know fitness and business coaches from Instagram with less than 70,000 followers making hundreds of thousands a month. Really good, high value content that created a loyal following of people interested in one thing, learning about making money online, right? That is how these people build their page. Their content, if you aren't building a business right now actively and making a certain amount of money, their content will do nothing for you. You will never watch their content, right? If you're not like a productive person who's actively growing a business, who is in a specific mindset frame and a specific type of person, you will never find that person's content because it's so niche down, right? But off of less than 50,000, after less than 100,000 followers, they make hundreds of thousands a month, right? But I also know people who have, like my client Fletty, who has 5,000 followers on Instagram, but he's booked till next year and doing 30 to 40K monthly. And most of his viewers are high quality clients because his content only showcases something his ideal client would be interested in: clean work and a deep breakdown on his process and how he works with each individual client. He does this in multiple ways. He posts B-roll videos, voiceover videos, 3D background videos. He posts across Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, everything, right? Facebook, TikTok, everything, right? And he puts all of those clients into one booking number, and that's how he's so booked out. His content is very good. Or I know people with over 1 million followers who get all their content off of skits and just posting whatever viral trend or repost they could for attention. And they're sometimes making even less than 10K a month. There's people with millions of followers, guys, making less than 10K a month, right? And I've also spoken to specifically service-based business owners, tattoo artists, hairstylists, barbers. I've spoken to barbers and tattooers with 100,000+ followers that make less than 8 grand a month, less than 15 grand a month, typically, right? So just because you're getting traction and getting a lot of followers does not mean anything. One of my clients, Jazz, he was literally had 15,000 followers, was getting millions of views a month, and he was still making less than 5K a month. After working with me, he was already so good at entertaining that he jumped up to 100K and then immediately was making 15K a month. right? Because it actually started to translate into clientele. So we need to make sure to reevaluate our data and understand these common issues and understand where people are going wrong so we can actively and accurately go back and look at our information and truly understand. All right, guys, I know I just yaps for an hour straight, so please hit me with the questions. Please hit me with the questions. I'm ready to go. If there is any questions.
Oh,
What did
no.
you guys think of that? I think I just went in low key.
Like Google stretching right now.
Oh,
All right. On a real note, though, guys, this is super important. Talk,
can I ask you this?
talk to me about any questions, concerns. What's up, Oscar?
So everything that the way you're able to go in, that's just over time of you learning like what works and what doesn't. Because I mean, for me, it just seems like I know in what direction I'm going, but I just want to know it's working out, you know? So I'm just trying to learn basically, but it seems like you already have it down.
What do you mean, like in terms of how you're going to do?
Like it just seems like you know what's working and what doesn't, you know? Versus me on my situation where I'm just trying to figure out if it works yet, you know? Does that make sense?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm breaking all this down to you guys because for you right now,
Yeah.
for your level that you're at, what you're probably just looking at is how many inquiries am I getting every day and how many views are my videos getting. That's why I broke down what you guys are just seeing on the surface level. All you're looking at is how many views am I getting and how many inquiries am I getting every day, right? Like those are the basics of where you start. But you use all of these tools and you understand where people go wrong with this process and you see how to, and I showed you the process I take on trying new things and trying new types of content so you can truly see that data and understand it on a deeper level and understand how it's
Okay, yeah.
with your viewers, you know? So that's why I broke it down like that. That's why I said like on the surface level, you're just looking at the views, but on the back end every week, you need to be using this process on your stories, right? Communicating, building trust with your leads, right? You also need to be understanding as you're trying new content, how can you go about this in terms of like actually trying new content in a way that you'll see the real result from it, right? Like I said, there's people in this call right now that have tried new content, posted something twice, three times, and then been like, oh, it's not for me. But truly, to really see the result they'll get from that content, they need to do it for months, right? So I'm showing you guys my process on how I would from the start post content, see the data, and then review it, and then also see how it's comparing to the engagement with my warmest leads. Because that's why us as business owners, we look at social media different than just regular influencers. That makes sense?
Yeah, that answered my question, bro. Thank you.
Fire, dog. Fire.
All right. I think I do have a question.
Talk
So,
to me.
as far as price point goes, does it matter where you are, like location wise, or do you do your market research and figure out like how much you're supposed to be charging? Because obviously Miami is a lot more like richer people, right?
Yes.
So, say Richmond, Virginia, I'm not quite sure, right? Like I'm not sure how wealthy people are really here, and it's like a college city, I guess, you know.
Mhm.
So how do you get to that like our ideal like monthly number without having to, you know, tattoo a bunch, but at the same time charging the amount of money that to get us there?
Sure. So, regardless of what you're doing, tattooing, coaching online, whatever it is, right? There's going to be a general market for that area in terms of like, some artists in your area, you should be able to tell what they're charging just based off of their work. If you look at just like average across the board, across the country in like smaller towns, I'd say the average is 100 to like $150 an hour, like
Hmm.
typically for artists. From what I've seen, like from Rhode Island to fucking California to fucking Utah to everywhere in the middle, right? That's like the average for like normal towns. 100 to
Hmm.
$150 an hour. So that would put a day rate at about like $800 ish, you know what I'm saying? Which is on par with what most people are averagely charging, right? I also have clients though that are in, like I said, Philadelphia in Ohio, small town in Ohio, charging close to 2 grand a day for his sessions, right? I have clients in Arizona charging close to 2 grand a day for their sessions. I have clients in North Carolina, South Carolina that are really in more of like what they'd say is like a redneck type of area that people don't usually spend more than a few $100s on a tattoo.
Hmm.
And they're able to get up to $1,400, $1,600 per day with like you know, high level work, right? For a full day session. right?
Hmm.
So of course, there's a few different things that matter in that. Like it depends on what style it is. It depends on a few different things. Um, the way I approach that though is I like to see where my clients are at on a base level when I first start working with them, see how booked out they are, and based off how booked out they are, we make the decision to raise it or not. Right? So for example, Kenzie. Kenzie isn't super booked out, but she stayed busy enough to the point that like she's doing like 8 little tattoos a day. And I was like, okay, you're doing so many little tattoos a day. You have so many clients hitting you up, and people are accepting your rate like this, but we want to get her booked out. So it's a little bit of a different problem. She's not like already booked out. Like we're trying to get her booked out, but her rate is flying off the shelf and she's doing a ton of clients. Right.
Hmm.
So based off that, she's like, oh, I don't know if I can really charge that much. I'm like, Kenzie, raise your prices. I don't care if they like it or not. I don't care if you like it or not. Raise your prices because the data is showing that it's time to raise them. So she raised them and she said it's going really well. And she booked like 19 clients the day she raised her prices, right? But she was doubting it the whole time. So
Hmm.
I think that it's kind of like something that you sit back and you look at the data and like depending on what you notice over that month, I would text me about that and we can kind of figure out what's a good number for you. But honestly, I think that right now, how booked out are you?
I'm booking beginning of 2026 now.
Yeah, so you're booking the beginning of 2026. So I think for sure for you, bro, you could go ahead and raise your prices. You know what I mean?
It's already at 300 an hour, bro. Like that's so
Yeah.
high to me. And yeah, I don't know, because obviously, like you said, average is about like 100, an hour, and I feel like I charge probably I'm pretty expensive, like regarding being in Richmond, I feel like.
How could you do, why don't you, I like day rates. What do you, how do
Hmm.
you feel about that?
I mean, I do day rates. Like my full day is pretty much 4 hours, just because like that's just based on my personal experience with my clients, like how long they're able to sit.
Yeah.
And so I feel like between 4 to 5 hours is pretty good. And my 4 hours is a grand. So it's easy work. I work super fast. So like I can knock out half a back piece in like 4 hours, you know?
I would honestly go ahead and just up my day rate and then have a downsell. That's what I recommend to everyone. Like no matter
Hmm.
what industry you're in, like even with my online my online offer where I'm coaching online, I always have a price anchor, right? So there's always a higher price, and then I downsell to the
Yeah.
price in the middle. That's always a good deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Hmm.
even for you, if you were gonna go ahead and raise your prices, rather than just raising my price from $1,000 for a day rate to like 11 or $1,200, like most people would, like a couple $100 raise, raise your prices from $1,000 to $1,500, and then downsell for multiple sessions at $1,200.
Hmm.
So what you do there is rather than having clients on an average basis just book one day, my
Hmm.
average client books 2 days. I fill up my books twice as fast, and I'm making on average $2,400 from a client rather than just $1,000 from a client, right?
Right. So I actually did talk to like the AIU and I figured out the back-to-back days. And I literally before this phone call, we just I just closed up back-to-back. My back-to-back is obviously two full days and it's 1,800. And I've been closing maybe between 3 to 5 people already in the past like 2 weeks.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
So yeah, I think that's a little bit more justifiable. I don't know, like 1,800 for 2 days straight. You know, you can because just that one back piece comes to completion literally 8 hours. So and that
I
took
would
us,
highly recommend upping it.
yeah.
I think that you're right there, bro. I think you'd be so comfortable with it because for me, dude, what I realized is that even with my clients, I was booking a lot of people who were doing singular days for like 3,500 and three
Hmm.
grand. And then I raised my rates from 3 grand to instead of 3 grand to 3,500, I raised my rates from 3 grand to 4 grand.
Hmm.
And then I downsold to 3,500. So most of my clients were booking multiple days. And by the end of the month, what I realized is nobody booked a day for 4,000. And
Hmm.
all 30 clients that booked that month all booked back-to-back days for 3,500. So if your
Hmm.
downsell is significant enough, you can get a client to spend more because they know they're getting a deal, right? So even with a smaller ticket offer, this is still just as effective, right? So Kenzie, for you, what did we do it for you? We downsold, right? How much? We raised your rates pretty substantially.
Yeah. It was at 150 and then you said have my minimum be at 250.
Yeah, so we raised her minimum from 150 to 250, right? And for someone even like Maya, right? She does professional makeup. Like if I was gonna do a price raise for her, I would do the same approach, right? I would do a substantial markup and then do a downsell more to a more comfortable number that the client was previously paying, or the average number that most people pay, but a little bit higher still because people always associate a higher price with a better product. It's crazy. Like whether the product's better or not, if your price is higher, they associate it with better. So it's like an interesting psychology factor as well.
Hmm. Yeah, because I'm just a little bit confused about the anchoring process, because obviously right now it's 300 an hour. So what if they don't book a full day? Like if I have a medium-sized piece, that only takes like a couple hours or maybe an hour and a half. Like, do I do hourly or how does that work?
I would charge by the piece. If I'm gonna go the route of charging by the day, I go the route of charging. For example, my mini portraits. I
Hmm.
charge 3,500, 4 grand for a full day session, but I'll do a mini portrait for $1,500, $2,500, and it only takes me a quarter, a fifth of the time. But it's not
Right.
about that. It's like I know that just for those mini portraits, they're hard to find for a good price. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
most people in Miami are charging more than me. So, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like for you, when it comes to those more medium tattoos, I would do a little bit more market research in the sense of like see what clients would be willing to pay because
Hmm.
everybody has a different level of trust and credibility with their clientele, right?
Right.
Like you might be the type of person that has so much lifetime value with a client. Like the client is so dedicated to only working with you that you could raise it to whatever and they'll keep coming back. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? I think that's also part of that psychology too. Like, how loyal is this client to you? What has this client's experience been working with you? I'd feel like someone like us who offer like a tattoo service would be less likely to have like a very good loyalty with a client unless we had already started like a very big pre-existing project with them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So, for example, someone like Maya, like she works with clients that's more so like one time off because she does like weddings. Hopefully, these people are staying married. Maybe they're not, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um you know what I'm saying? She's probably gonna work with a client, and then from there she goes on to like working with those clients, friends, family, etc. Right? So for us and her, it's a little bit different. Um, but I think for you, when it comes to that more like medium ticket, like individual, not full day sessions, I would kind of price them based off of like a palm size, hand size type of like scale. You know what I mean? Like
So flat rate.
yeah, and I've learned
Hmm.
that. I really learned that from like I used to have a traditional artist that I like looked up to a lot, and I would always hang around his shop and stuff. And he kind of taught me that. He's like, I don't go off time. He's like, if it's hand size, it's gonna be like 800 to 1,200. He's like, if it's palm size, it's gonna be like 600. Like,
Hmm.
he kind of went off that, and I just saw that he could make. I've seen, as a traditional artist, I've seen that, and he was in Rhode Island. He wasn't in like a
Hmm.
major city. I've seen that guy make, multiple thousands of dollars in one day because he could do a
Hmm.
full form traditional piece in an hour and a half and
Hmm.
charge the guy $1,200, and he could do three of those in one day and still only have a 5 hour workday or six
Yeah.
hour workday. So it depends on the individual so much. But I feel like for someone like you, bro, like charging by the hour because how fast you are, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're
Yeah, you're
cap,
right.
you're capping yourself off.
Yeah.
You're permanently capped off. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, the thing about this, because when I first started tattooing, I used to just charge by the piece, but I run into the problem where, okay, they tap out or they just don't have high pain tolerance, and like, oh, okay, so how do you navigate that? Because like I can just be like, oh, okay, so how much this session, or do I charge full price? And next time they come here, they just finish up for free. Like, how does that
Well,
work?
think about it like this. Think about it like this. I think one of the main parts, whether the client sits through the whole appointment or not, one of the main things with me is transparency. Like no
Hmm.
hidden fees, no surprises. If I charge someone hourly and I like they might expect it to take an hour and a half, they might expect it to take 6 hours, right?
Hmm.
Like I want to be able to take my time or do it quicker if I feel more comfortable doing it quicker, however I see it fit, you know?
Hmm.
So like I said, like even with other industries, like even with someone like Maya who's doing professional makeup, right? If she knows, oh, this is going to take me a certain amount of time, and if I charge hourly, I'll make a little bit less, or maybe my client's not going to finish, or maybe I'm going to need multiple sessions for this. Regardless, your rate should cover what you're happy going home with. You get what
Mm.
I'm saying? Like, if you
Yeah.
tell yourself, whether I finish or not, I still want to go home with this amount of money, that's got to be your rate. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because you know it's worth it, right? Like I'll tell a client, hey, if I'm coming in and I'm blocking off my entire day for you and you don't sit through the appointment, like I blocked off my entire day from you. Like I'm not gonna like, you know what I'm saying? Like I still have to
Hmm.
get paid a certain amount, right? So I would work it out with the client in a sense where I'd be like, okay, hey, I charged you a full day today, bro, and we didn't finish, but like just throw me like a half day or like $500 and I'll finish another day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I would
Hmm.
approach it because you still have to you using double the supplies coming on another day, whatever it is,
Right.
there has to be a fee for that, right?
Yeah.
If not, you're just kind of being too nice. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So you would still suggest charging if they can't finish like for the next session as well. But for that one day that's shortened, you would just like kind of prorate it a
Yeah,
little bit.
I'd be like, oh, if we just have like to shade in your traditional piece and I gotta bust out a
Yeah.
new thing of supplies, I'll be like, just pay me my minimum 250 tomorrow and I'll finish it
All right.
tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah,
they
I feel like
definitely
this
have
is something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, 100%. I feel like this is something we can definitely workshop a little bit more during our like one-on-one too.
Yeah.
Because I do have a email or just text template because I funnel everything through my DM. Sorry, well it's DM and then text message now.
Send me
So
what
I have a
concerns you have on pricing, dude, and
uh
we can even do like a whole group call on just pricing overall.
yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Here, actually, let me start a poll in the school community,
Hmm.
and anyone who has pricing questions across all industries can kind of ask questions, and we can kind of have a module on that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that now.
yeah, because definitely been feeling like I'm hitting the cap. It's like my hourly is very intimidating. So how to, and I think that's also like a lot of people's pain point too, based on my research. So if I were to give them like a flat rate and kind of work with them a little bit, like I said, like downsell it a little bit, I feel like that would work really, really well instead of just being so scared off of the initial price menu.
I think that what's it called? You'd be surprised if you're booked out till J January. You'd be surprised what you can get away with charging because people really will pay for exclusivity. You know what I'm saying? Like if you tell a client, "Hey, I'm charging you a bit more, but like I'm taking half as many clients," like they appreciate that, right? Like
Right.
there's benefits to that. So it all depends
Hmm.
kind of on your personality and your clientele, but definitely we can go more deep into that. Definitely.
Yeah. I think it would be a great segment to, talk about price, but also the mindset adjustment too, because a lot of
Yeah.
people definitely hit that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Like Kenzie was doubting herself so much with raising her
hmm
prices. Like
Oh,
so much.
yeah.
he literally yelled at me to raise my prices.
I was like, dude, I don't care. Like you better do it. Like it's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? Any other things you guys want to ask me? Just want to
No,
make
I
sure
think
all you
it's
guys
super
are feeling good
solid.
about this. I want you guys all to feel good about this. And if you guys didn't make it for the whole call, this is all recorded. So we'll be uploading this for everyone to just go
Yo,
back.
Raph, I got a question.
Talk to me, Josh.
So, as far as the ICM method, right? Where it comes to doing your B-roll, your raw content, and your hard CTA, how far apart do you recommend spacing those videos out when you're posting them on your timeline? Or, yeah, like on your feed?
Okay, good question. So what I like to do here, Josh, is I was talking on the call this my one-on-ones this weekend about this. I really like to use a sequence that's like day after day after day and then started off with more so my B-roll slash like surface level attention grabbing content, right? Because the
Yes.
way I see it is to like truly nurture a client in the shortest amount of time. Like you want them to go through the funnel of watching the ICM. So you want them to get the surface level attention from the B-roll. Then the next day, watch a video that's exactly breaking down the process and you working with that client from the B-roll. And then the next day, having a client testimonial where the client's showing the final result talking about their amazing experience. And then the next day, a hard CTA, which brings them to message you. You know what I mean?
Okay, so like space it out like a few days apart from each other.
Even then, I'll do it like back to back days because what you'll notice is that even if you're posting 3 videos that day, you could post a B-roll video and then you could post like a raw clip, or depending on the day and what it is, you can post a 3D background video. Like you can mix these days together, but generally, when you post a B-roll video of a piece, you should want to follow up with the following videos being the voiceover, the testimonial, the CTA.
See, that's exactly what I wanted to know because I've been trying that method out and it's had a lot more engagement than just posting a B-roll content video and then the next day posting a raw content or voiceover and then coming back and hitting it with a green screen or TTA. I've noticed that like if I wait a few hours and then post the other video, it kind of starts like hooking them in a lot faster.
Yeah, yeah. So, dude, listen, I'm all for it. If you have the capacity to post those videos from like that sequence, same day, back to back, money, money. But either way, if a client is watching your page, looking at your content, if they click on your page, whatever video is shown, the following days should be the next parts of the process, right? To further nurture them. So
Yeah,
whether we post it the next day or a few hours later, preferably we post them back to back regardless. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
So, um, would you recommend resharing those like to your stories? Like,
so
would you
resharing,
spam them?
you could reshare posts to your story. I used to do this a lot. What I noticed with this too is that your stories get the most views if you're not posting on it, right? Like if I don't post anything on my story and then I post a good story post, I'll get like 100,000 views. But if I'm spamming my story, ripping stories all day, talking to my page, I'll probably get like 10,000 views.
Yeah,
So but those 10,000 views are more people that are like people that really fuck with me, like warm leads, like I was saying.
for
So
sure.
so it depends on what you're going for. If your goal overall is just to get views to your reels because you know your reels are nurturing the right way, post your reels on your story. But if you
Okay.
know, hey, I want to do a little bit more market research this week, I want to kind of see how people are engaging on a deeper level, I want to start more conversations, then I'd go the route of using my stories to like talk
See,
their
and that's what I'm having trouble with, which is the engagement. Like, I need to get more people to go ahead and comment or share my actual reels because I feel like it needs to be pushed out to a bunch of more non-followers. And I just don't know how to go about that process. Like when it comes to creating more engagement, like for my posts.
how has everything been translating in terms of bookings?
I mean, I'm getting leads, I'm getting bookings and stuff, but I just feel like the engagement's not really there on my B-rolls or my raw content. Like I'll get a few people that really will like drop a comment or something, but then I try to put like a hard CTA, like tag a friend who needs this or whatever, you know? So I don't want it to sound too like artificial.
Let me pull up your page real quick. I'm gonna take a look through it. What's better? I can't draw it. So what I'm noticing is a few things, bro. One thing you want to pay attention to, like we were talking about a little bit in this call, is look at what spikes you have, bro. You have a couple videos that have like 20, 30 comments.
Yeah,
And I think that's huge because you can tell right there that there's a pretty big difference in the way you start that video compared to your other ones. You
yeah,
know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
So I'm
So I would pay attention to those differences and those spikes because this video has 7,000 views, 20 comments. This other video has 5,000 views, but zero comments, right? Like
yeah,
that might have 5,000 views and zero comments because people didn't have a whole lot to say, but it still has 5,000 views because it's a raw clip and a potential client would love to see a video like that,
for
right?
sure.
So I wouldn't concern myself too much with the engagement, but if you are trying to really double down on the engagement, I would just pay extra close attention to those videos that are getting 20, 10 comments, etc.
Okay. Yeah, I
But I
appreciate
think you're
that.
doing a good job, bro. I think your content overall is just getting better and better, you know? And it's one of those things too where it's like, if you look across the board, you were averaging before 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Now your videos are like five, six, seven. You know what I'm saying? Eight.
Yeah.
So your numbers are going up, bro. Um, and I think right now we're gonna polish some of this stuff because your content over the past couple weeks is just ripping it. I think that some of these older pieces from like a month ago though, like you still have like the TikTok watermark, you're still like kind of getting in the flow.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
was
it's
still trying to
like
find the rhythms to everything.
that's why I said earlier, like one of the main parts people fuck up is in the process. It's right in the part you're in right now. It's like you've been posting every day for a month, and
Yeah,
like your videos are consistently doing better. Like double, triple down on that, and pay extra close attention to what's working. And then like there's clients like two who do really well and then stop posting. It kind of brings you back to the starting point, right? Like even Kenzie, when we were working together, she was posting so much, and then she kind of fell off. And now it's like I see her like getting momentum back. So you want to make sure you're doubling down on that momentum as
Yeah,
it's.
you know, not I've noticed that like on my dashboard, like I managed to get it all the way up to about 360K like views. And slowly it's been decreasing to where it's like 180 something. So does that really matter, or is it just really uh like just Instagram analytics kind of like pushing you to post more?
It's analytics, bro, because at the end of the day, dude, I've had months where I was down to 16 million views and I've had months where I was up to 60 million views. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yeah.
like it's just going to tell you a lot about what you're doing. And also the past few months I've averaged 30 million views. Like if you look at my analytics for the past 6 months, it's been on par to like 30 to 35 million every month. So that's a good number for me. That's like about a million views a day. So you'll start to find your rhythm with that. But like I said, you're still in that first month, so you really right now have to pay attention to that shit, bro.
Okay. Appreciate you, man.
Of course, dog. Of course, bro. Hell yeah.
Um,
Killed it, bro.
another question.
So
Um, so for like my main page, I've been removing like my reels from it when I do like the B-roll style content. Just because I have the cover as like I just set it for it's usually just my face first. Should I put them back on my main grid but change the cover to like what a tattoo that's in there?
I don't like doing that because it's kind of annoying when I click on an artist page and every time I want to look at one of their pieces and like zoom in on it, it's like a video and I have
Okay,
to wait.
same way, that's
So
why.
I think that it's a really good tool for us or any real like service-based business. Like if you're trying to highlight a quality product, like let them look at the still pictures on your main profile. Like let them zoom in, let them look at stuff in natural lighting, let them see stuff healed, let them see stuff in natural light. And then on your reels, if they like want more information, they can go scroll through your reels individually on your reels section, right? Because trust me, people when they click on your page from reels, it brings them to your reels.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So if they click on your page from a reel, it'll still let them scroll through your reels automatically. And then if they want to, they have to go redirected to your main profile to see your grid. So they can look like more in depth at your work. So I think that's yeah, I'd leave it for the reel section.
Quick question, follow-up question. So you said the still pictures, so like carousels, right? How often should you post that? Because I know reels and carousel are completely different. And how do you like put a hook on your carousel, like your still pictures, or you just literally just post your tattoos? And how do you do that?
So realistically, I've done carousels in the past, but mainly that was more like for informational type content,
Hmm.
right? Like I wanted to give certain information to certain people and really grab attention. Um, for the actual pictures themselves, I like to post just still pictures by themselves as like a portfolio on my main page, right? Because what I
Okay.
want with my main page is I want it to just look as least busy as possible, right?
Hmm.
Like, and I want the focus to be on exactly what I'm trying to sell, but then also like a good mixture of me. So if you look at my page, like for every two, three pics of my work, you'll see a picture of me. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I think that's key to really people being able to like feel comfortable with who they're going to work with. Because what I've noticed is that so many business owners just post pictures of their work and have no pictures of them up. And
Right.
that's really too like it's a red flag. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
no matter what you do, no matter what you do. And I think that all of us in different businesses have like a good opportunity to do that in our own way. Like whether you're a barber, whatever it is, right? Like you should be posting pictures of yourself alongside your work. So
Hmm.
people are just comfortable. Your main page should basically be like, oh, this is what I offer in this meet. Right.
Hmm.
And then your reels are like, okay, now you can go more in depth and see more fun stuff or more in-depth stuff or more of the process or more of my client experience. And then for your highlights, you can use that for specific information. So in your highlights, you could be like client testimonials and let people see your
Hmm.
client testimonials and have those more highlighted in that section, right?
Hmm. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Does that answer that question good?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to structure my page, but
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, yeah,
I try to keep it very simple, bro. Very simple because at the end of the day,
yeah.
it's like, do you ever click on someone's link tree and there's like 8 links right there?
Hmm.
Like it's so
Yeah.
annoying. So I think of the same process with my page. I just want you
Hmm.
to be able to say clearly my work, clearly me, any
Hmm.
questions you might have answered, and then a clear way to reach me, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I see that when you post your reels and all that, after like a day, you would just hide them from your main feed just to keep it clean, right? Like, do you usually do it like 24 hours later?
Literally,
Okay.
literally 12, I usually do it same day, a few hours later, honestly. That's usually
Okay.
my process.
Yeah.
And like you said, just to keep it clean,
Hmm.
just to keep it clean. And then I let it kind of settle right there in terms of
Okay.
like get a certain amount of views so I know it's hitting the explore page, I know people are seeing it, and then I hide it.
Okay.
Because it continues to get pushed. There's reels that are in the background that are still from months ago that are still getting views. Like Instagram will
Right.
bring back videos. If you're consistently posting,
Hmm.
Instagram will bring back up videos you posted 3 or 4 months ago and start putting them to go viral. It's
Yeah, I
insane.
definitely, yeah. Yeah, I see that.
But if you stop posting,
Uh,
it'll be like, fuck you. Like, no, we're not doing it. Like, we're not pushing this
yeah.
shit to anyone.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because I like the aesthetic of your page, and I just didn't know whenever I post like still pictures if I need to put like a hook on it so people actually give a shit, but it makes sense that it's supposed to be your portfolio. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And the way I see it too is like, I try to just disassociate in terms of like the likes and stuff. I never hide my likes. I never hide my views. I think that's
Hmm.
such a red flag. But if you look at my main page, like my posts on average, like if you look at my just page itself, like you see the views each post is getting. Um,
Hmm.
like people are seeing them and going to my page and looking at these still pictures frequently. So I know that people
Yeah.
are redirecting to the main page. Like
Yeah.
million views, 600,000 views, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000, 500,000. Like imagine if every time you posted you got 500,000 views, how much advertising that is for free. Like
Hmm.
that's insane. So definitely those still pictures, like I want them to be the highest quality and I want the caption to be very quick and to the point. Booking new clients now, text, blah, 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 blah for any inquiries,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So, like any business, that's the way I would do it because I want people to see exactly where we're trying to push them to. This is what we call just doubling down on product awareness. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Also, I got a question. So, is there ever a time in the day that's too late to post? Like today, I had to leave the house at 6 a.m. I haven't even edited a video today. And yesterday, I had three weddings back to back. So, like, I'm tired. I'm tired. So, I was just wanting to know what's like the latest that people are actually going to pay attention if I do post, because I feel like later in the day, like people don't really pay attention as much. So I was just wondering.
So, contrary to normal belief, but the best times to post are actually not during the workday because most people are at work. So, most sales, most posts, I like to throw them up and do most of my like conversation, like all these conversations, starting things I'm talking to you guys about in the DMs, on stories, etc. All my posts. I like to post. If you look at all my story posts, look at all these. These are all from it's 8:30, 10:30, right? Like all after work or 9 a.m., right? Like that's generally my posting time, early in the morning or late at night, right? And then sometimes I'll even post at 2 in the morning if I get off work super late. Because for me, it's just about staying consistent daily. Like I tell people, like I'm more likely to like not brush my teeth and not post at night, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get that post up. So I think regardless, staying consistent is the most important part. If I were you, whether I had the opportunity to post at 6 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, or 3 in the morning, just I would do it regardless. You know what I mean? There's certain hours where more people are active, but I wouldn't really take it too much into consideration because if the video, like I said, gets traction from the first few thousand people, that's so the page that like Instagram or TikTok, whatever shows it to, it'll continue showing it to more people. And the next day it'll continue hitting the explore page at whatever time it is. So if something's doing well, it'll continue to perform well regardless.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, yeah. They do that like in bundles. Like if you post something, even if it's in the middle of the night and 100 people see it, your page grabs the data from how those people interacted with that post and then pushes it to more people over the next few hours. So I would just be more concerned with just getting the videos up rather than the times.
Okay.
Fire. But yeah, for me, I'm like, if you really look at every time I post for real, it's like three times. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon because it's right before I sit down with my client and start doing a tattoo. I post, or it's right in the morning at like 10 or 11 a.m. because it's right after I drank my coffee and my brain started working, or it's like 11 p.m., 10 p.m. and I just got off work and I had to post. So those are really like my times right there. And also, if you look at my phone, like on when I screen record like sounds and find video ideas, all of the screen recordings happen between 11 p.m. and 1 or 2 a.m. because I'm just sitting in bed, just freaking like a freaking animal, just going crazy in my bed, just looking at video ideas and stuff like that. So it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle creating content. We're the content creators now.
Oh, do we still do hashtags or no?
Nah,
All right.
I don't think so, honestly. I don't think hashtags are gonna be game changing. If I was gonna do some hashtags, maybe for my location,
Yeah, okay.
maybe for locations, because I've definitely in the past searched up like hashtag Miami tattoo artists, and I know clients do that frequently, and
Hmm.
my stuff pops up. So you'd
Yeah.
be surprised. You know what I mean? Like I've even gone to like different states and been like nightclubs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
hashtag and see what pops up. So, you know, like see where all the pretty girls are going or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Mm.
it's definitely a tool that could be used. So maybe use them for location purposes. Yes.
Hmm.
I think that's more of like in the beginning process of building your page though. It's a little bit more
Yeah.
rather than like later in the process.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's like an update with the location stuff too. So I've been just putting in my captions, booking tattoos now in Miami. Like I've been doing
Yeah.
that in caption because I've noticed that they changed on Instagram how you can put your location. It's like a little weird
Hmm.
now, and I don't want to show like exactly where I am. I just want like a general area. So I
Yeah.
was doing like tattoos now in Miami. Boom.
Mm. Gotcha.
Product awareness is key, guys. Letting people know exactly where you are, all of that is just so important. So important.
So if I were to restructure my page to get a cleaner look, would you suggest archiving or just continue posting, just keep going to clean the page,
I
you
would just
know,
continue posting because even if you look back at my page, like I used to post all my pictures with it.
captions?
Not even with captions. I used to post all my pictures with like a polarized lens.
Mm.
And I didn't like that. Like I wanted to start doing more natural photos. So even then
Hmm.
I just started taking all my pictures natural, started posting on top. I wouldn't really delete what I had in the past. You know what I mean? I'll just leave it all up. Just so
Yeah,
people
yeah,
can
yeah.
see it. I feel like it builds the authenticity, right? It builds the trust and
Hmm.
credibility when you can go back on my page and scroll to 2020 and see the way the tattoos have gotten better, see the more likes, see the more popularity. Like that builds the trust and credibility in itself. Like that's part of the
Hmm.
documenting process is leaving that stuff up so people can scroll back and be like, oh, he is like telling the truth, you know?
Yeah.
I will say though, with your page though, I do like the aesthetic of your page. I really do.
Oh, thank you.
I think it looks good, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, because after our call, I was like, man, I need to do better with my page. So I archived a couple of pieces that I felt like was not really selling. Well, remember like you were telling me that if you
What I
didn't know
would say
me,
is if
hmm
you are gonna do these like kind of like captions on the pictures, like as I want to show you what I'm looking at, like he has captions on his pictures like this. Can you guys see it?
Vanimal Crackers is my Instagram in case you wanna
Animal
take a
crackers.
look.
So he has
Yeah.
like different like I would try to have that text be very small and aesthetic and similar across the board. Like you see how
Okay.
one of them is really big in a different font and they're all like different fonts. I would
Right.
have them all centered, very aesthetic, like smaller is more
Hmm.
aesthetic, and then very like simple, like the same font across the board, so it doesn't look like mix matchy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Heard.
If you were gonna keep on with those like collage type posts, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. That's very helpful.
Of course. See, like I played with a few of them and I did that more like smaller type.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think that looks a little bit more aesthetic. You know what I mean? Even with reels, I've
Hmm.
noticed that using more smaller aesthetic captions like that are they perform way better than like a big bulky caption across the screen. Way better.
Yeah. Heard.
Here's like another one I did. Very
Hmm.
small and aesthetic.
Yeah. Attention grabbing in a different way, I feel like makes people like stop and really read instead
Yeah,
of
well,
being
but think
like,
about it. Think about it too. Like, look at those words. Like, look at the wording on those. If you're not that person, you won't stop and read that. Like, for example, this one says, stuck at 10K a month. Here's why you haven't broken through. Like
Hmm.
if you're a business owner making 10K a month, then you're like hooked. You're like, oh yeah, like I am making 10K a month. I'm stuck. But if you don't own a business and you work a job or whatever, it just flies right over your head. Like you would never stop and read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those have very specific goals behind them. You know what I mean? And I'm
Hmm.
attracting a very specific individual.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So guys, any more questions you guys have for me today? I feel like this was a fire group call. Nor
100%.
Shad, anything you guys want to say either?
I don't know. I've been over here silent. I don't know. That's a lot of game though. That was good. A little, what was that? Hour and 45 minutes. Look at us. Do we feel confident though? Like everybody feels great. I know I'm just coming on here now. Let me see.
Are we able to go back and review the tape so we can like process everything
Yeah,
again?
so I know that was a lot of information. So we got this call recorded. What I'm gonna do is the moment we get off this call, I'll get it
Hmm.
uploaded in there. It should be in here probably about like 4 o'clock. I know it's gonna process and everything, and I'll just
Yeah.
throw it in the school community, and I'll text y'all and let y'all know about it. Um, but
Wait,
no,
so in the,
my
sorry,
bad.
go ahead.
No, you're good. Go, brother.
Oh, I was gonna say, so our actual one-on-one ones, say our previous session, like, is there any way I can find that clip and review that again?
So I love Raphael. This is the one thing we were working on today, actually, is we're getting all the calls together because what we do is we record them locally on the computer. We don't
Hmm.
upload them to the cloud or anything. So what I'm going to do today is I'll get all your individual calls together, and then what we'll do is we'll put those in the Notion. I'm not going to put those on the school or anything. So the Notion
Mm,
page that you have, you'll have
yeah.
those calls in there. And I'll text y'all like a link with everything too as well, so you know exactly where to get it. But yeah, I
Okay.
think those would be really important because I know this is a lot of information. I know at one point, I know we got to stretch, but no, that was really good. And hopefully we can do more stuff like this and bring the questions.
Hmm.
Bring the topics. We're gonna break this down. We'll do some sales. We'll do a bunch with this. So I hope y'all really enjoyed this though. I don't know if
Yeah,
this.
that's super fun. Thank you.
I didn't even notice that Zach put this in the chat, but Zach said answering questions on the stories made him 10K in one day. Pretty cool.
Sheesh.
Yep, Q&A on the stories. So guys, look, and Zach only has a few thousand followers, guys. So
Nice.
Zach over
let's
here
lock
not
in.
saying
Let's
words,
let's
typing
lock
that
in.
though.
There's money to be made on the stories, guys. And if people don't feel comfortable enough to speak to you on your stories like we were talking about, make them feel comfortable. Start more conversations, ask the questions for them, encourage them to and respond.
Put a pull up and I got 25 review or 25 answers already.
In the past like hour, right?
Yeah.
Fire. Yeah, so polls are like more surface level than the Q&As. Like people who probably never engaged with you before will answer polls. So it's cool to like just see, you know what I mean? Especially when you're like just kind of testing the waters on certain things, pricing, certain projects, etc.
Mm, 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 mm.
All right, guys,
You good?
let's kill it this week. Happy Sunday. I'm glad most of you guys hopped on today. Um, we're gonna get this uploaded for you today, and I'm gonna start working on next week's presentation. I want to start delivering some more stuff for you guys for these group calls. So I'll make sure that I have everything ready to go. Are we doing a we're doing a sorry guys, not next week, bi-weekly. So every other week we'll do a group call, but I'll confirm with you guys the dates, and then also I want to do some like surprise Q&As in the school community, guys. So feel free, probably the weeks in between the group calls, I'll do Q&As in the school community where I don't have like presentations, but like I just open it up for like 20 minutes and let everybody kind of jump on a live and ask questions. So if you guys want to join those two, feel free. We'll probably record those and upload this as well.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead too, and on top of like recording this and posting it, I'm gonna save this board and just have the still board posted online for you guys to reference to as well.
Okay.
Well,
Mm.
And also, guys, any client wins, anything you're posting using these elements, please share that in the school community. I kind of want the school community to just be like our new place for us to all communicate together and share client wins and just talk about stuff. Um, it's just one of those places where it's like from our wins and from what we're sharing, just a lot of people can learn from it. So let's just start using school for the wins and stuff, posting our shit in there.
Raphael, go ahead and send that to me while you're right here.
Let me get on that. Let me get on that.
Fire. Well, cool. I know that was a lot. I know you're probably motivated and so ready to go right now, but I know it's a lot of information. If y'all ever have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I wanted to be more, I know me and Shad are behind the scenes, but we wanted to be more like helping with a lot of this, hopping on these calls and, help share a lot of information. So we're all, helping hand with this. And like we said in the beginning, we want to treat this like a family. So help each other. If you need anything, let us know. Let's knock this out. Let's make some money, have a good time doing it.
All right, guys.
Good.
Love y'all. Be safe. Have a good week this week. Kill it. I'll see you guys later. And feel free to hit me up, guys, on the one-on-one phone too if you guys need anything. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you.
Peace.